Rattlers football here on the WB, and Ed, the Rattlers have been living in the danger zone. Their first 2 wins, they won by a combined total 40 points. The last 2 by only 2 points.
As defending champions, they're going to get everyone's best shots, and that's what happened the last 2 weeks. 2 points in 2 weeks. That's all it takes to win, though, and that's the key. When, in the gut check games, if you want to return to the top, you have to win those games.
Let's take a look at that Milwaukee game 2 weeks ago. The Mustangs go for 2 in the final seconds.
Great job by the defensive backs, not letting the receiver get behind them on the fade route. That's why that play was unsuccessful.
On to Houston last weekend. Rattlers, Thunder Bears, Cedric Bonner, an unlikely target. Clint Fleming on the screenplay.
Flint was a fullback in college, so he can rumble with it, as you see right there with the touchdown.
Hunky Cooper, 2 touchdown returns off of kickoff, but this time he coughs it up. Luckily, he had a teammate in the vicinity.
I think he actually wanted to argue and say, I should be credited with that. That was actually a lateral, but Cedric Walker gets it done all the way down for the touchdown.
And the defense held in the final 2 minutes to preserve that win. One thing has been constant for the Rattlers, though, their offense. #1 in the Arena Football League in putting points on the board. Bring out a calculator when they hit the field, especially with Bonner and Shake.
As great as they were last year, it's amazing that they've improved on that this year, and the reason is this combination right here. These guys have an amazing swagger about them. They're confident. Their timing is impeccable. It's amazing how open Calvin can get, and Bonner just lays it in time and time again.
Certainly not 2 average Joes on an average night. That's an average night for Bonner and Scheck-Snyder. I think most teams will take that.
Calvin is averaging 21 points a game. That's only 7.5 less than the Grand Rapids Rampage entire team.
Rattlers are 4-0, tied for the best record in the league with Nashville. And it's amazing, Ed, because the Rattlers defense is...
They struggled a little bit last year. This year, they have really struggled. The big reason being Randy Gatewood is no longer in the defensive backfield. He separated his shoulder 2 weeks ago, probably out for another 2 weeks. He was the guy that they could leave one-on-one against the other team's best receiver. He's out, so there's been some confusion in that defensive backfield.
Look at that, dead last in yards given up per game. And we had a chance to talk to the Rattlers' 2 super colliders, and they know exactly what it will take to turn things around defensively.
Make things simple. Simplify things. And we got too many calls, too many checks. Make things simple so we can go and play aggressive like we did last year.
This is very personal to us. We're not playing on the level that we need to play at to win the championship. And amongst each other, we're just telling each other, keep the confidence with each other alive.
Another area of concern for the Rattlers, that is their kicking game. They're last in field goal production this season.
It's amazing with the defense playing that bad and the kicking game playing that poorly that they've been able to get off to a 4-0 start. Last year, they had Anthony Brenner, probably one of the best kickers in the AFL. He retired to sell furniture for his family's business in North Carolina. They brought in Michael Geary, who was a model last year in New York. Well, they sent him back to be a model again, and now they have Kyle Pooler, who struggled, missed a couple of key kicks against Milwaukee that kept that game close. They may have to go outside and find another kicker.
Fuller has potential, but inexperienced, so they did have a tryout recently, and they might save some money if they go in-house for some field goal production.
The AFL always looking to save a few pennies, so they brought in some of the people from right here in America West Arena.
Danny White looking on. How about the Gorilla? Does he have a shot?
You know, him not talking would be a problem in the huddle.
Connie Hawkins, the Hall of Famer.
We know he can swoop. The question is, can he kick?
Ryan, a sidewinder.
Well, she's got the flexibility part down, obviously.
Cotton Fitzsimmons gave it a shot.
His best days are way past him athletically, Tom.
I don't know who this dude is in the helmet. It looks like Gene Nudo, their vice president.
Or is that the retired Italian soccer player Fettuccine Sosmano?
Oh, I don't know, but Kyle Pooler tonight, you better kick him straight. You have some competition breathing down your neck. Rattlers, Bobcats will kick things off on the WB right after this.
Dodge Caravan has always come with extra bonuses. And now Caravan comes with a few more, like low 1.9 financing, or choose $750 cash back. Plus, select customers get a Dodge owner's bonus for an additional $1,000 cash back, which means you could own America's best-selling minivan for as little as $16,370. Now that's a bonus you can bank on, but only for a limited time. See the friendly Dodge dealer near you.
I can do it. I can do it. I can't do it. I can't stop smoking.
Oh, that's a big surprise.
Maybe next Monday.
Sure.
Maybe next year.
Why not?
Yeah, you know, cold turkey.
Cold turkey.
Ah, it's no use. I'm scum.
Hey. You want to know something?
What?
It took you a long time to learn to smoke, right?
That's true. Very true. Yeah, but I worked at it.
What makes you think you can quit?
I don't know.
Just like that. Quitting takes practice. Quit slow. Slow for good.
I can do that.
I know you can.
Godzilla's hiding, and it's up to you to find him. Just buy a gordita or a medium or larger drink. If you find Godzilla, use your secret decoder to reveal what you've won out of millions of prizes. You could win $1 million.
I think I need a bigger box.
We were never big sports fans. We'd follow the Suns, you know, watch the big games, playoffs.
But that's really changed. I mean, there's the new ballpark and the arena. And
We're becoming sports fans. The more you know about the game, the more you want to know what's going on.
Right. That's why we like Cox Cable. I mean, they just have so many games, and there's so much more information, and they just have better coverage, don't you think?
Call Cox Communications today at 277-1000 and get free connection.
Okay, let's get back to hockey names.
Hubby Boolin?
Mm-hmm.
Kachuk.
Gesundheit.
Who's that?
I don't know, Doc. I just woke up with the worst backache. I keep getting reoccurring headaches. Can you do anything for me?
Kid goes out of bounds and goes head over heels.
I'm pretty sure it's my collarbone. It's swollen.
It's my throat. For some reason, it just really hurts.
Wow, and all this time I thought you just treated the pros, and here you are giving a shot to little old... Ow!
Have you ever wondered which vegetable is loaded with vitamin C? Hi, I'm Kevin Jenkins. I've been working in the produce business for 27 years. Smiths and Smitty's want me to share some of the tips I've learned along the way. Broccoli has twice as much vitamin C as an orange and is loaded with fiber. To get my kids to eat it, I peel the bitter skin off the stalk. The inside is sweet and tender. Your kids will love it. I'm Kevin Jenkins from Smiths and Smitty's with your produce tip of the day.
Smiths and Smitty's, a fresh approach.
Hit them with your keys tonight. Ed Cunningham's Keys, brought to you by Circle K.
They have to have clear communication in defensive backfield the last couple of weeks. They've had some blown coverages that went for touchdowns. The linemen have to get pressure on the quarterback. Everybody talks about the defensive backs, but if you're not in the quarterback's face, he's going to throw all day long. Don't let Florida hang around. Play to your level. They're 0-4, you're 4-0. Go out and show it.
Kyle Pooler chomping at the bit to kick things off. Here's our Truly Nolan showdown. Bonner and the defense of Florida.
At 0-4, Florida still has a very good defense. Their defensive backfield is one of the best in the Arena League. Cedric Bonner, if there's anybody who can beat him, it's him.
All right, Kyle. Give him the green light. Kyle Pooler ready to kick things off here at the America West Arena. Another sold-out crowd to watch the Rattlers try and remain unbeaten. They're looking to go 5-0. Florida 0-4 to start this season. Darren Hughes back to return. It doesn't even get to the net, but Hughes had his back foot on the back line.
Dangerous kick by Pooler. If he catches that, that return was set up very well.
Florida offense led by Fred McNair, the brother of Tennessee Oiler quarterback Steve McNair. Count the amount of times I call Fred Steve tonight. Air McNair, we'll stay with that.
That's a compliment, though.
Tony Wells, one of his main targets as a wideout, and McNair behind center for the first snap. Pass is incomplete. Curtis Caesar thought he had a handle on it, but the referees thought elsewhere. Rattlers defense. And you heard from Doggett and Cedric Walker, they need to simplify things and get their aggressiveness back.
Brian Easter, number 24, making his first start tonight. They need him. He's the blitz linebacker to get pushed into the quarterback and get his feet moving around.
Brian Easter in there at linebacker to start things off instead of McMillan, but we have a wireless mic on Bob McMillan. We'll hear from him throughout the evening. McNair's second pass, and that's complete at the 14-yard line. Bernard Edwards, the former Arizona Cardinal.
Actually drafted in 1992, the same year that I was drafted by the Cardinals. 6'5" Edwards goes. That's one of the problems the Rattlers may have. That was not a catch, Tom. But he turned his back to the official. The official could not see that that ball hit the turf.
Bobcats get a break. Doug Kay looking on. The defensive coordinator for the Rattlers. 3rd and 1. The pitch goes to Travis Pearson. Pearson hops over Cecil Doggett for the first down. Doggett went for the ankles, and Pearson leapfrogged him.
Got to be careful as a defensive back, especially the cornerback. When you're coming up to force the run, Doggett tries to go low, and you can't do that. You've got to go up and hit a guy around the waist. Cecil went down low on that. got to stay up a little higher. I know he's undersized, but he's still got to go up and make that tackle a little higher because a good running back's going to jump over the top every time.
Pearson goes 217. Doggett's about 160. McNair. Oh, and the pop laid by Sean Parnell. The pass is complete to Darren Hughes. Parnell right there on the spot to drill him into the boards.
You know, Tom, everyone's talking about missed assignments, missed this, missed that. The one thing they did last year was when they had to make a tackle after a completion, they made it. This is the type of hitting that they need all night tonight. Slam guys into the boards, run around, make good, crisp tackles. They did that all last year, especially through the playoffs. Parnell's got it started tonight.
One of the players trying to fill the void left by the injured Randy Gatewood. And it's Curtis Caesar again on the reception as the Bobcats just picking apart the Rattlers defense with some short passing.
The one thing that jumped out on film about Fred McNair when I was studying for this game was his lively arm. I mean, the ball gets there in a hurry. Doesn't have a great touch ball, but the short underneath stuff, the long out patterns, really gets the ball in there fast.
Rick Buffington, the head coach for Florida, said McNair is a very mobile quarterback, despite the fact he blew out his knee back in 1996. In motion is Caesar. McNair looking to air it out. Nobody in the vicinity. Sean Parnell on coverage against Darren Hughes. But again, McNair having plenty of time. The Rattlers need to concentrate on that pass rush.
Very little pressure on that play, but the coverage was impeccable downfield. Parnell, Doggett, Cedric Walker had their men covered like glue. Here's a nice shot from above. See the switch by the center and the fullback. That's an awful long time for him to be able to stand in that pocket. Thankfully, the coverage was tight downfield.
2nd and 10 now for McNair and the Bobcat offense, opening possession of this game. Near side, Curtis Caesar takes it in once again, and Hunky pumps him into the board. How about that? Maybe Pumpy Cooper. Hunky, nice shot on Caesar, but there's Florida again, just kind of chewing away some yardage. It's now 3rd down and 5.
They will leave Caesar uncovered in those situations because they're running people past him. The defensive backs have to go with the deepest receiver. Caesar was left underneath. Rattlers will let that play go all night long.
Make it 3rd and 4. Early test for the Rattlers defense. Bernard Edwards in motion. McNair scrambling into the middle of the end zone. Is it caught? Yes, touchdown. It took a while for the official to decide if doing a little hippie shake. Bobcats on the board to start things off here at the America West Arena.
Someone needs to tell Bernard that they score a lot of touchdowns in this league. You may want to save your neck. It's going to get sore. Looks like it skipped off the turf. Get a look at it here. Can't see from that angle. Of course, Doggett screaming. It's no good. Again, the official was behind it. That's Merton Hanks. He's copying Hanks from the 49ers. That drives me nuts.
That and Shaq. Carlos Huerta, new place kicker for Florida, knocks it through, and Florida gets on the board first. They lead the Rattlers 7-0. Arizona gets their hands on the pigskin for the first time right after this.
Include me.
Air Touch. It could change your life.
Take me to the river where the jackpots flow. Take me to the river where the winners go. Take me to Gila River Casino where the winners go. Go to the river, Gila River Casinos. Go to the river, Gila River Casinos.
Lennar Communities with their homes the 90s to the 180s, and they're always checking in with some good cash for Rattlers charities after every extra point and field goal. $25 for that last PAT by Carlos Huerta as the Bobcats have jumped out on top 7-0.
The reason it looked like the ball skipped is because it actually bounced off of the arm of Bernard Edwards. Got his arm right under there. A fantastic catch by Edwards.
McNair, 5 of 7 for 40 yards on that opening drive as Carlos Huerta kicks things off to Hunky Cooper. And here comes Hunt. He has 2 touchdown returns so far this season. He wants 3. But he's pulled down at the 12-yard line. Hunky Cooper averaging 21 yards per return, and he almost broke this one.
Give it to the blockers. Look how much steam Hunky Cooper got before he even had to make a move. He got 7 to 8 yards out of the end zone before he had to make his first move. Fantastic blocking by the Rattlers. If you give him a seam, he's going to find it. Incredible vision on Hunky Cooper.
43 yards on that return for Hunky Cooper. He's been the Rattlers' Iron Man 3 of their first 4 games, and of course was Iron Man of the game for Arena Bowl 11. Rattlers, the world champ. Under center, Cedric Bonner whips it over to Hunky, reverses field, no gain.
Bonner's pass completed over 14, Hunky Cooper.
Brought down there by Travis Pearson and a host of other Bobcats.
Hunky just made me look pretty smart. How did he know that number 65, Eric Miller, was closing in behind him?
Rattlers offense, Kenny, Fleming, and Tucker, with the protection of Cedric Bonner, the #1 rated passer in the Arena Football League. Calvin Scheckschneider, #1 in catching touchdowns so far in the Arena League.
That line has not produced a lot of sacks, but they also haven't given up a sack in 23 games on Cedric Bonner.
Shakes on the move. Bonner goes to Hunky again, flagged down as Cooper is taken down at the 5.
I know they've only run 2 plays on offense, but it's becoming obvious that Danny White would like to get Hunky involved and maybe get a little more balance in the offense, knowing that a team like Florida with a good defensive backfield may be keying in on Calvin.
Penalty against Florida.
Number 29 was out of the defensive block.
Travis Pearson, the linebacker, lined up outside of the box, which is 5 yards from the line of scrimmage and as wide as the offensive guards. You get outside of that back box, it's an illegal formation.
Bobcats defense has been stellar so far this season. 5th in the league, only giving up 45 points per game. The Rattlers, as we told you earlier, score 61 a game. Bonner, he has stakes, but he can't hang on. One of the few times you'll see it go off the fingertips of Scheckschneider as Bonner tried a little softball there to Calvin, who probably expected it to come in a little quicker.
Tom, that's the first mistake I think I've seen Calvin make all year. He jumped too early for that ball. If he'd have run through the football, I think he thought it was thrown just a little higher. See how he leaped off the right foot? He should have continued through that ball, and that would have been a touchdown.
Boy, the Velcro man, one does not stick for Scheckschneider.
He won't forget that tonight, though.
Bonner on 2nd down and goal from the 7. The pitch to Bo Kelly. Bo cuts in and goes down to 3. Bo Kelly, the Rattlers' leading rusher this season. 52 yards coming into the game and 2 touchdowns. Both of those touchdowns, though, scored against San Jose.
Little wrinkle that the Rattlers have put in, you see. Number 56, Mark Tucker out leading. Nice block on the linebacker, Pearson. But they bring a receiver down to block on the defensive end, and Tucker pulls around. Beautiful little wrinkle that they've added to their running game.
3rd down now and goal from the 3. Bonner rolls left, fires, shot, touchdown! Rattlers strike. There is just no way to cover a player who is going to go down into the corner of the end zone, and he's guarded on one side by the board.
Bonner, a little semi-rollout towards the direction of his receiver. Of course, Calvin gets that incredible separation. Great pass by Bonner, but it could have been anywhere, and Calvin still would have got it. Defensive back was beat by 3 or 4 yards on that one.
The former Cactus High star, Kyle Cooler, with the extra point, and he knocks it true. Rattlers have tied things up. Not a big surprise that it's Bonner to his favorite target, Shake. Touchdown, #1 of the evening for that dynamic duo.
When you pull into 76,
Come on, move it, guys.
you've got something in common with the drivers in NASCAR. Because for over 40 years, NASCAR has chosen 76 as their official fuel. And now they're 76 with new Pro Power. It's cleaner burning for more powerful performance on and off the track, no matter what you drive. Get the spirit of NASCAR. Get the spirit of 76.
The kick of 132 horses is a big bonus for Dodge Neon owners. And now Neon comes with a few more, like low 1.9 financing. Or choose $1,500 cash back. Plus, select customers get a Dodge owner's bonus for an additional $500 cash back, which means you could own a new Dodge Neon for as little as $9,980. Now that's a bonus you can bank on, but only for a limited time. See the friendly Dodge dealer near you.
They'll keep us busy here on the WB at back-to-back-to-back. 4 straight weeks of Rattlers football here on the WB.
Gets tough in a couple of weeks at Portland. They're surprisingly 3-1. Orlando also 3-1, always a contender in the AFL.
Danny White, the Rattlers head coach in his 7th season, watched his offense engineer a drive that lasted to 3:23. Only needed to go 11 yards, though, thanks to that big Hunky Cooper return. It was Bonner and Shakes getting credit for the score, but Hunky put it in tremendous position. Kyle Cooler on the kick. Through the hands of Darren Hughes, who's drilled at the 5-yard line. Herb Duncan stuck him.
Herb Duncan ran a 10.4 100-meter dash in high school. No one on this team should beat him down the field. See how he broke down? See how he got his feet wide and he allowed his center of gravity to lower? When you're running at full tilt in the kicking game, you have to break yourself down about 5 yards before you get to the ball carrier. When you see a guy falling on his face mask, it's because he hasn't broken down.
McNair putting up some impressive numbers. 16 touchdowns to only 4 INTs. It's a nice ratio. He's putting up some early numbers here in the first quarter, going once again to Curtis Caesar. Cedric Walker, second in the Arena Football League in tackles after 4 games this season. He broke the Arena Football League record for tackles last season.
Again, the Rattlers are going to allow that little underneath stuff all night long. In the Arena Football League, you just don't want to let receivers behind you. You give them a pretty good cushion, and you let that underneath stuff, and you got to come up and make the tackle. And so far tonight, the Rattlers done a nice job of making those underneath tackles.
Bernard Edwards on the fly. McNair looks past him, instead goes deep into the corner, and incomplete.
Come on back, Ced.
Ced goes up and over the board.
Great coverage by Cedric Walker. Did not get beat deep. Last minute gets turned around to look for the ball. Those boards come up real fast.
Terry Brown, the intended receiver, he pulled up short of the boards. We saw Cedric Walker do that, though, last week against Houston. I think he purposely likes to flip over those boards. He knows that's going to make the highlight reel.
Yeah, he's probably landing on his feet on the other side and giggling.
McNair, pressure. Henderson had a hand on him. Now he finally does go down in the hands of Darren Kenny. Check that, Jamie Washell. It was Jamie Washell with the secondary pressure on McNair.
One of the keys we talked about at the top of the game was this defensive line has to get pressure, and there's none other than Tony Henderson. Come on, Tony. Get him wrapped up. But Tony, an incredible pass rusher in college. Jamie Washell from Purdue, also a defensive lineman. That's the key, is the guys who did play defense in college, they've got to step it up on this side of the football.
Jamie Washell, a free agent with the Cincinnati Bengals on his resume, as McNair on 3rd and 10. Fires incomplete. Herb Duncan, like a blanket, all over Bernard Edwards. How about the play of Herb Duncan here in the first quarter? Doug K loving it.
With Randy Gatewood out, they have to find a guy that can come in and do it. Herb Duncan has stepped up and played real well tonight, but the question is, can he continue it through the entire game? Again, the pressure is the key. There's a couple guys down around his feet. McNair's feet makes him throw it low, and there's Herb Duncan breaking on the ball. Nice job of coverage for a guy who played very little defensive back in his career.
Taekwondo black belt, Herb Duncan, the Rattlers fitness guru, and here comes Carlos Puerta with the field goal attempt. It's straight. but just wide to the right at the tail end, and it's Scheck-Snyder taking it in on the return, past the 15-yard line and down at the 16. Puerto with an interesting kicking style. It really doesn't look like he got a whole lot into it, but it certainly carried to the net, had enough juice, but just ended up wide right. This is his first taste of arena football, and again, those uprights only 9 yards wide. He played for the Chicago Bears last year. He was the man, actually, that the Bears signed and released Kevin Butler. There was a huge to-do over that back in Chicago.
Only lasted for about 4 games, had a great career in the CFL, now doing business in Las Vegas, but that field goal would have been good in the CFL or the NFL.
He wishes he were back there. Bonner, the bomb, overthrows.
Oh, boy.
And I'll tell you what, Herman Taylor got away.
Oh, did he
with
ever.
a little something there in the end zone. And it was right in front of the official who may have thought this was uncatchable.
But you have to let the receiver's speed tell you if it's uncatchable or not. That ball was overthrown. He's got a hold of him the whole way. The ball lands just past the end zone. If you're the official, you've got to assume that Bagley may be able to get that. Bagley, a big man, calling official timeout for someone to tie their shoe. But as the official, I think you've got to let the athletes decide. And if somebody's grabbing someone on a long pass like that, unless it's in the net or way into the crowd, you got to put a flag down on that one.
Gary Brown, one of the main offensive targets for McNair, and in arena football, having to play the defensive side as well. Cedric Bonner, 27 TDs, 2 INTs, and that's why he's the #1 rated passer in the Arena Football League.
Those INTs are amazing. 2 were against Milwaukee as well.
Bonner, the big bomb. There is a flag down at the 20-yard line. And Calvin Scheck-Snyder, it may take him a few minutes to get back into play. He went all the way into the tunnel. Illegal procedure against the Rattlers. Come on back, Shakes, who ran an extra 30 yards near security control deep in the bowels of the America West Arena.
Got to kill Danny White. Play came off perfectly.
Second down.
Marvin Bagley, a rookie in this league, covered up the tight end. He cannot be on the line of scrimmage to the side of the guard who raises his hand. That's a rookie mistake that kills you. Beautiful touchdown to Calvin Scheck-Snyder. Perfectly executed and just a mental bust that drives coaches crazy.
Call it back. Danny White wasn't sure as to the status of 2 of his main players tonight, Ed. Hunky Cooper has been bothered by an ankle sprain and a shoulder injury, along with Cedric Bonner. He had an MRI on his throwing shoulder. They thought there might be serious damage. Instead, they're calling it tendonitis, but it is very tender. Bonner over the middle, looking for Bagley, overthrows him. So if Bonner is not as sharp as usual, that will be the reason. He was icing it down before and after practice all week. Meanwhile, Hunky Cooper missed 3 days of practice. So 2 of your main cogs in this Rattler defending championship team are hurting.
Took a lot of effort on Danny White's part to get Hunky Cooper to sit out of practice. Hunky did not want to sit. When they say tendonitis in the shoulder, that's a nice fancy medical term for a sore shoulder. Thankfully, the MRI was negative. But Danny knows he can always go to Donnie Davis. Guy came in last year at the end of the season and tore things up against Tampa in the semis and then against Iowa in the Arena Bowl 11.
Quite an insurance policy. Bonner 3 of 6 here in the early going. And 1 touchdown. Fires this one over the hands of Shakes. Calvin pleading his case there at midfield. But it will be 4th down, and on comes Kyle Pooler for a long field goal attempt.
Blitzing linebacker George Del Rico from Virginia Tech, an all-Big East selection, 2 years at linebacker, ran right through Bo Kelly. Little arm over at the end, and that's why that ball was overthrown by Bonner, because he had Del Rico draped all over him.
This will be a 47-yard field goal attempt by Pooler.
No problem with leg strength, just the accuracy's been a little bit of a problem for him.
End of the first quarter. Pooler's kick. Good! 47 yards! 2-time All-State in soccer. He still holds the Arizona state record with the a 62-yard field goal at Cactus High School. Cooler ends the first quarter in dramatic fashion, drilling the field goal. Rattlers lead the Bobcats 10-7. We're headed to quarter number 2 as Cooler splits the upright.
Hey, where's my ball?
Okay, first off, I want to welcome the new guys to Region 29. Plus, let's hear it for Chuck, who persuaded his 100th customer to try a sourdough jack. We ordered that eye, Chucky. Steve-O?
Okay, just a reminder from Jack, you may call these sourdough slices toasty but not crunchy. The patty is juicy, cheese is melted, and the bacon count is 4 pieces. Any questions?
Okay, let's be safe out there. Watch out for cats.
At America West, we fly more non-stops to more places than any other airline in Phoenix. And we've just added more non-stops, going east, west from Alaska to Mexico. All at some of the best prices around. So next time you fly, don't worry about changing planes or trying to make a connecting flight. Just book a non-stop with America West, the airline with more non-stops to more places.
I know I shouldn't smoke. I've tried to quit 1,000,000 times. I know about lung cancer, strokes, heart disease, all that stuff. I mean, they're listed right on the side of the pack. Still doesn't make quitting any easier. But I'm going to keep at it. Because the way I see it, if the reasons on the side of the pack don't get to me, the reason on the front will.
The kick of 132 horses is a big bonus for Dodge Neon owners. And now Neon comes with a few more, like low 1.9 financing. Or choose $1,500 cash back. Plus, select customers get a Dodge owner's bonus for an additional $500 cash back, which means you could own a new Dodge Neon for as little as $9,980. Now that's a bonus you can bank on, but only for a limited time. See the friendly Dodge dealer near you.
Arizona's Budweiser distributors remind you to drink responsibly, know when to say when, and also know when to get your math right. Instead of 47, give Kyle Cooler a 52-yard field goal. Listen to this.
Do you think if that was Fred Kuffel standing over a 9-iron, he could have nailed it? I mean, the horn sounded. I thought they were going to blow it dead. They all kept their concentration. Fuller kept his head down and drilled it through. I guess he listened to our pregame.
Yeah, he saw our skit and didn't think it was very funny. Didn't like Gene Nudo in the helmet lining up a field goal attempt. Taylor on the return, taking it to the 15-yard line. Herman Taylor, 6 feet, 205 out of Murray State. And Darren Kenny there on the stop for the Rattlers.
Darren Kenny, an offensive line. We got a Rattler down. It looks like Brian Easter.
If there's one position that the Rattlers are strong in, it is linebacker and fullback, though you don't want to see anybody go down if that indeed is Brian Easter. They have Bo Kelly, Bob McMillan, and yes, it is Easter there on the field.
Finish my thought about Darren Kenny. He, offensive lineman in college, has really turned into a very good defensive lineman in this league. Worked on his moves. He's very quick off the ball at that nose guard spot.
You can see him working on that knee.
That's
Ed,
the
when you
stress
see
test,
that, there you go. Both hands on the helmet for Brian Easter, who will have to be helped off the field. And you hate to see that. Brian Easter, the former ASU Sun Devil, with a knee injury here to begin the second quarter.
Now they dressed three fullback linebackers tonight so they could get Easter into the game for his pass rushing ability. They only have 7 linemen, so him going down doesn't hurt the linebackers as much, but you're also short 1 lineman coming into the game. But try to get word on what happened to Easter as soon as we can.
But you're right, Ed. When you see that stress test, that means they're checking to see if those ligaments are intact.
That's not a good sign.
Air McNair, the brother of Steve of the Tennessee Oilers, going up top, and he fires one into the turf, looking for Herman Taylor.
I know it's early in the game, but this is not the same defensive backfield that's played the last 2 games for the Rattlers. They've been like glue on these receivers from the Florida Bobcats. McNair just has nowhere to go tonight. Absolutely nowhere.
His last 4 passes have been incomplete. He's now 6 of 11 for 52 yards and a touchdown. Played receiver and quarterback in college at Alcorn State. Testament to the type of athlete that Fred McNair is. Pitch play to Pearson. Pearson shoved out of bounds after a gain of 6 or 7 yards. And it will be 3rd down for the Bobcat offense. It's their offense that has really struggled this season. We really complimented their defense, number 5 in the league, but they're not able to put many points on the board. Only 37 points per game, and it's really the same story. This team has not had a winning season in 6 years, and we might as well call it 7. They're 0-4 at this point. Rick Buffington trying to find some offense. He's the first-year head coach here for Florida, taking over for Babe Perilli. Last year, Buffington was the assistant head coach. McNair over the middle, throws behind Taylor. Parnell was there on the coverage, and it's 4th down for Florida. But it's just the same old story for these Bobcats, trying to get consistent offensive production.
Well, when you have a guy as wide open as McNair had Pearson, or excuse me, as he had Taylor open on that one, you cannot throw the ball behind him. He had Parnell turned around. He turned one way, McNair put it behind him. You're not going to score touchdowns in this league if you don't hit wide open receivers like that.
So on comes Carlos Huerta for the field goal attempt. The former All-American at the University of Miami. Puts it up. The little chip shot is up. And good. It hit the railing behind the net. 45 yards for Carlos Huerta. We're seeing a nice little field goal exhibition here between Pooler and Huerta.
Huerta's never had a very strong leg, an All-American at Miami, but he makes his living with his accuracy, and you see there, it's a long way to split those tiny little uprights.
Interesting story. He was living in Las Vegas. The Bobcats had his rights and were trying to sign him, but so were the Arizona Rattlers. Gene Nudo said they put a couple of calls into Huerta, but he wasn't willing to compromise. He wanted to commute out of Las Vegas to wherever the team was playing. Well, Florida, in dire need of a field goal kicker, said, hey, whatever it takes, we'll get you in. And he replaces Derek Storeeyes, who was their kicker first 4 games of the season.
But at the same time, I like the stance that Gene Nudo takes. He says, look, you've got to be down here. You've got to be a part of this team. We're not going to let you commute back and forth. I don't think that you give up your values as a team and how you run your team, even though that was a huge need for the Rattlers as well to have a kicker.
Huerta gets a good foot into this one. Retrieved there by Hunky Cooper. And Hunky thrown down at the 12-yard line. So the Rattlers and Bobcats tied at 10. And before this game, it was Gene Nudo who said he expected a bloodbath. He didn't feel that you take the records of the Rattlers 4-0, the Bobcats 0-4, and think immediately this is going to be a blowout. He knew Danny White would be in for some kind of a contest.
They are not, the Bobcats are not an 0-4 team. They had 2 very close calls, games that they should have won against Milwaukee, and their last game, or second to last 2 weeks ago against New York. It's a game that they really gave away, but when you look at them on film, they have a couple good receivers. They've got a good quarterback with a lively arm. They do not come across as an 0-4 team.
Bonner on first down. Finds Calvin Schecknider, and he's taken down by 4 Bobcats. All the way down to the 15-yard line.
There's a look at how good this offensive line has played for the Rattlers. Nobody even near Bonner, and he finds his favorite target. But look at the toughness of Calvin to use that stiff arm to get a couple extra yards at the end of the play.
Wireless mic on Bob McMillan, the fullback.
Make sure you get wide on this one in the middle. Watch left, X loop. 12, wings slant out, X look. He's going one-on-one, ready? Shoot up.
They called 3 different routes for the 3 different receivers. 12 was the protection.
McMillan doing the blocking, and it was Hunky Cooper taking in the reception and down at the 5-yard line. Wow, you can hear the contact there as McMillan was part of the protection for Bonner.
Got Bob McMillan going about 250 pounds, slamming into number 77, John Finga, who goes 305 pounds. It's going to be quite a collision.
All right, now it's second down and short. Let's look and see if Bob McMillan might get it on the short yardage play. Down. Hunky Cooper took in the pass, but the Bobcats are calling a hold against the Rattlers. So hold everything.
Illegal defense. Number 29 on a defense box. Their penalties decline. Touchdown.
With the live audio, you see Bob McMillan showing you what it takes to play in this league. He is sent to block 305-pound nose guard John Finga and throws him right on his fanny. That's a heck of a block by Bob McMillan.
Yeah, that's the last time I watched any of the Bobcat defensive backs. They were sure that it was a penalty against the Rattlers. Pooler with the extra point. $25 more for Rattlers charity. Courtesy Lennar Home. Bonner to Hunky Cooper. That touchdown sticks. And the Rattlers up by 7 here in the second quarter.
Come on, let's go faster, faster. He's really driving me. Killing us. I'm pulling away from you. It helps, though. I don't think I could do it on my own. I know. This is the longest I've ever stuck with a workout program. Well, they say motivation is the key. You can do it. Come on, you bunch of hard killers. I don't see any sweat.
No wonder you can never get a bike around here.
This is what you're working for.
KMBP 860 AM, the radio station where all you hear is sports. The Diamondbacks Buck Showalter every Thursday at noon. Kevin Ray and Ron Wolfley mornings. Tony Famino afternoons. ASU football. Word from the Wild Saturday mornings, followed by Bunker to Bunker. World champion Arizona Rattlers. The Phoenix Mercury. The Bruce Snyder Show. NFL football Sunday and Monday nights. All on KMBP 860 AM, your sports station.
Every Tuesday night this season at Country Harvest in Tempe, you're invited to eat with the Rattlers. That's Country Harvest at the corner of Priest and Elliott in Tempe. Take you back to 2 weeks ago. Rattlers taking on the Milwaukee Mustangs. Randy Gatewood with the pop along the boards, but he also felt a pop in his shoulder. 3rd degree separated shoulder. They said he'd be out 4 to 6 weeks, but he might be back as soon as 2 weeks from now. Randy Gatewood joining us from the sideline. Gates, you look sweet down there. I know you'd rather be in pads. What's your assessment of the Rattlers' defense in the first quarter, especially the defensive back?
So far, so good. You know, everything's looking real good. I think we've kind of got back to basics as far as just covering one-on-one. We're not really playing a lot of combos or nothing like that.
Sorry, Randy, was that a major change that Doug made this week to kind of force you guys to go back to basics?
I think it was something that he's always thought about doing, but he wanted us to just get used to disguising and doing some other things in our secondary. As a result, we didn't quite take it the way he wanted to. So as a result, like you said, we wasn't playing good defense, but it's looking good tonight.
You're looking good, too. I know you're doing some shoulder exercises. It looks like some neck exercises, too, with that chain you got going. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, though. You know, I talked to Doc today, and he said everything's looking good. And like he said, 4 weeks, and in approximately 2 weeks, hopefully I'll be back by the Portland or the Orlando game.
All right, let's chat again at halftime. Thanks, Randy.
Thanks, guys.
Fuller's kickoff goes off the feet of Herman Taylor for the touchback. Boy, we're getting it all. We've got McMillan Mike. We've got our Cub reporter down there, Randy Gatewood. We're having some fun. Dan Steekman, Scott Feaster in the truck with the crew doing a great job here tonight from downtown Phoenix. Rattlers leading the Cats 7-0. Arizona also looking to become the only team in Arena Football League history to go undefeated throughout the length of the season. Ed, it's way too early to look towards that.
Tom, I was going to say that.
But if you look to the end of the season, they're going to wind up the season against the other undefeated team right now, Nashville.
Wow, you're going a long way in the future there, Tom.
Let's live in the present. There's Curtis Caesar. And a breakdown in that defensive secondary. He was wide open, cutting across the middle. Cedric Walker able to push him out after a big gain. Curtis Caesar has been a favorite target of McNair here tonight.
Curtis Caesar getting a lot of playing time. He hadn't played a whole lot before this game, but they did not travel Cleveland Pratt for some reason. They were a little mum on why he was not brought on the trip, but Caesar stepped in and done a nice job.
Cleveland Pratt came in as the Bobcats' leading receiver after the first 4 games, but they did not travel him, so Curtis Caesar getting a lot of action here tonight. Flags all over the place, and Duncan! Darren Hughes. Herb Duncan is laying some serious paddage out there tonight. Boy, Herb is just on fire.
Herb Duncan came to play. Obviously, the things that Doug Kay were screaming about this week sunk in with him because he's really playing well.
Illegal procedure, illegal formation against Florida.
Rick Buffington serves as his offensive coordinator, so he can't really fire him.
Can't really chew him out. Interesting character, that Rick Buffington. Overall in the AFL, 25 and 45. But here's what's most interesting about this guy. He has coached or scouted for 13 different professional football teams. And before that, as a player,
only 3 players on the line of scrimmage. 3-yard penalty, repeat first down.
and before that, as a player, 17 different football clubs, minor and semi-pro. This guy has been around.
He doesn't look that old, Tom.
No. Hey, throw in the fact
guy that's been with that many teams, you expect him to be in his 70s, but I know Rick's not that old.
He ran the Boston Marathon 1980. Pretty good athlete himself. McNair rattled in the pocket and picked off by Cedric Walker, who is upended by his own teammate, Herb Duncan. Duncan and Walker, and Cedric is still down on the field, and he is in obvious pain. But he pops back up. Off goes another Rattler. We already saw Brian Easter go off the field with a knee injury. Walker somehow managing high fives as he skipped off the field.
Ball was thrown late by McNair. When you have two receivers downfield crossing, you have to get rid of it early. Oh. Spectacular. His leg got, I think what happened is Duncan hit helmet or shoulder pad, hit right in the lower leg of Cedric Walker. It might just be a bruise the way he got up and tried to walk it off. Spectacular catch by Cedric Walker. Can't believe he held on to that thing.
That's his second interception of the season. Bonner on first down. Hard ball to Shake, just short of the first down. We check in with Randy Gatewood at halftime. We're going to have to get an injury report from him, from the locker room.
Send him in there and start snooping around with Matt Anderson and John Singh, the two trainers, find out what's going on back there. I got $5 says that Cedric Walker will be back on defense the next series, though.
Bob McMillan back in at fullback. Let's listen in as Bonner comes over with the play.
Caught the tail end of it. Switch! You hear Bob McMillan yell switch. He's switching his assignment with the center.
Bonner completes it for the first down to Hunky Cooper, who immediately had his foot out of bounds. This is fun. Bob McMillan on the wireless mic down there. You're able to feel the contact just by listening to it.
But a veteran team is able to make adjustments on the move like that. There's Bob McMillan blocking the nose guard. You heard him yell switch right before the snap of the ball. That meant he wanted the center to go left and him to slide right. It's a zone protection. Pick up whoever comes to your gap. There's Darren Kennedy, the center. He went left. Bob went right, picked up the nose guard. But a veteran team that's been around and been together for this long can make adjustments just like that right before the snap, and it works out seamlessly.
Hunky Cooper, 6th in the Arena League in all-purpose yards. It shakes on the fly. Quick hit. Duncan drops it. Duncan cut short as Schexnayder was flying high, but Herb couldn't hang on to it.
It's amazing as well as Herb Duncan has played tonight, I know, as an ex-player. That's the one he's going to remember. It's a catchable ball thrown right in the midsection by Bonner. That'll eat at him all night and all day and probably all the way through the week. Should have been a catch by Duncan.
Bonner, 8 of 13 so far, 62 yards and a touchdown. 3 of those 8 passes going to Calvin Schexnayder. 2nd and 10 now for Bonner and that lethal left firearm. Completes it short again to Hunky Cooper. So they're pulling out a page of the Florida Bobcats playbook, eating up some short yardage and some time off the clock.
Well, Florida's pulling out a page out of the defensive playbook of the Rattlers. They are not letting the Rattler receivers, Calvin Schexnayder especially, get behind them. So Bonner, the heady quarterback he is, he has to take what's underneath. There's nothing open downfield. Good job by those defensive backs. We showed early in the broadcast that they're 4th in the league right now in pass defense. Pretty good for a team that's 0-4.
Yeah, there's a reason why they're only giving up 45 points per game. Cooper now, 5 catches, 30 yards. Bonner splitting it up between Hunky and Shakes. This time it's Kevin Knox in motion, activated this week, but he goes back to Hunky Cooper. Hunky tries desperately to get to that first down marker, but comes up a yard short.
Cedric Bonner didn't look like he was comfortable with Kevin Knox. Didn't even really look in his direction. Threw underneath to Hunky Cooper, knowing it was a calculated risk whether they could get the first down. People say, why would you throw a ball that's not enough for the first down? A guy like Hunky Cooper usually can get it done, but he did not even look in the direction of Kevin Knox. Brand new to the team. This is his first game on the active roster.
Another former Arizona Cardinal, actually drafted by the Buffalo Bills in 1994 and played 4 games for the Cardinals, mostly special teams. And they go to Knox, but he's hit right at the point of the ball coming into his grasp. And the Rattlers will turn it over.
Kevin Knox has good speed. He's the man in motion. You can see him just faking a go route and just a little stop turnaround. That ball was thrown late by Cedric Bonner. It should have been there much sooner. He was open. The defensive back was closing. I don't know why Cedric held it, because that was his #1 receiver. Kevin Knox was open.
Now look at this. Kevin Knox goes, oh, you mean I got to play defense too? He was all the way off the field. Oh, this is arena football.
He's in Florida State or the NFL, pal. Get back out there.
Bobcats looking to tie things up here in the second quarter. They have certainly given the Rattlers all they can handle here in the first half as McNair goes back to Bernard Edwards. Boy, a lot of former Cardinals around here. I'm starting to feel a little suffocated. Got one up here in the booth, a couple down on the field.
That was a huge stop by the Florida Bobcats to put themselves back on offense. Good tackle by Cecil Doggett. That's the key. Make sure you make the tackle. Let the underneath stuff happen. Make the tackle. But that's a huge stop.
And a surprise call to go to Kevin Knox in a big 4th down situation. And not to go to Kyle Fuller, who's already booted a 52-yard field goal. Del Rico getting the handoff, and he pulls forward what appears to be the first down. Another player that is not in uniform for the Bobcats is their leading rusher, Lou D'Agostino. So it's George Del Rico getting the call at linebacker fullback. Del Rico out of Virginia Tech and Buffington trying to pull together as many players as he can that are healthy, and the Rattlers have watched players like Cedric Walker go through the tunnel into the locker room.
Well, I'm glad you didn't take my $5 bet. He does not look like he's walking very well.
First down for Fred McNair. Pass batted at the line of scrimmage. Rusty James with a hand up. The former Arizona Wildcat, a rookie in arena football. James is smart enough in any league to know to get his hands up.
Rusty James just saved the Rattler defense 6 points. Curtis Caesar, there was another mishap in the defensive backfield for the Rattlers. They didn't make the switch. If James did not get his hand up and knock that ball down, Curtis Caesar was wide open in the flat and nobody was behind him.
McNair, 8 of 17, 74 yards. He has a touchdown and a pick. Curtis Caesar in motion, looks right, pumps, he's got a man wide open. Touchdown, Bernard Edwards. Oh, here we go again. Oh, I thought we had seen enough of that hippie shake, and Edwards throws it down with authority. Pretty move that he put on to free himself for the touchdown strike from Air McNair.
See the pump fake. Sean Parnell bit on that thing the whole way. You have to stay behind the receiver on those routes. It's tough for Parnell, who goes 5'9", because Edwards goes 6'5", but he has to stay behind him. He just cannot afford to jump on any fakes.
And again, with Randy Gatewood out, you're hearing different names out there. The Sean Parnells, the Kevin Knoxes, as the Rattlers are trying to plug some holes. Huerta on to the extra point. He is solid. And the Florida Bobcats, boy, they have come into Arizona, and they're doing a number on the Rattlers. Florida 0-4 coming in, looking for their first victory of the season. They've tied up the defending world champion.
Checkers sells more brand-name fluids and automotive chemicals than anyone in the West, like McGuire's Gold Class Liquid Car Wax, so highly reflective, it's brilliant. Checker.
Let's work together.
Khadijah won't give Sinclair a raise.
I gave you a job when you were fresh off the bus, running around tossing your hat in the air like Mary Tyler Moore. Well, you're no Mr. Grant.
So Sinclair takes on a new career.
I got a job. Hey, has anyone asked you why you crossed the road today?
While Khadijah gets a new assistant.
I just want to rip the hair off her chin.
Now, neither is happy, but neither will admit it.
I'm drawing a blank. How about you?
On the next Living Single.
Tonight at 9:30 on WB61.
A minute 8 to go until halftime. Want to quit smoking and need help? Call the Arizona Smokers Helpline, 1-800-556-6222. The call is free. The program is free. Be an ash kicker. Quit smoking.
You know what that program does?
What does it do, Ed?
They bring you in and they kick your ash around the room until you quit smoking.
If I smoke a little more, my voice might be a little deeper, but I don't think it's worth it. Florida, interestingly enough, as they're getting ready to kick off here to the Rattlers with a minute 8 to go, have called timeout. These are the Stray Bobcats, the Stray Cats, calling West Palm Beach their home. 10 of their 14 games are away from West Palm Beach, and that's because the auditorium only holds about 2,000 fans.
But good news for the Florida Bobcats, who used to be the Miami Hooters, who used to be the Sacramento Attack. They now have a home in Broward County. They just signed a lease with Broward County to play in a brand new facility that the Florida Panthers, the NHL team, plays in. It seats almost 20,000 people. So hopefully they can start to see some financial success, which will help their success on the field.
One of their so-called home games this season will be in Kansas City against Nashville. And you remember last year...
Yeah, we did a home game in Los Angeles.
In Los Angeles before about 200 people at the sports arena.
On a field that used to be played on by the Rattlers. They brought one of the old Rattler field over to the field to play on.
That was brutal. The field and the crowd. Somehow the Rattlers got away with a win. Rattlers, total yards-wise, getting outplayed by Florida. 107 total yards for the Bobcats, 74 for the Rattlers. Here comes Hunky. He nearly broke free, but was taken down on an ankle tackle by Darren Hughes, who may have saved 6 for Florida.
It's amazing, Hunky Cooper. Every time he gets a kickoff return. Again, though, he got to get 5 yards out of the end zone before he had to start looking for a lane. Rattlers are doing a really good job of holding their men up further and further down the field. They're not waiting until they get all the way down there. Doing a good job of keeping them from getting down in their lanes, and Hunky's just getting that head of steam and making people miss.
Rattlers with plenty of timeouts remaining. They have 3 to go here with 1 minute to play in the first half.
Remember, the 1 minute rule applies now. Anything that goes out of bounds or incomplete passes now stops the clock.
First and 10 from the 21-yard line. Finds Marvin Bagley, who's immediately hit out of bounds by Darren Hughes.
You know you have problems, Tom, when Marvin Bagley, who is a rookie before the play, is telling Kevin Knox where to go and where to run. Bagley's only been around a few more weeks than Kevin Knox. It's one tough thing. I mean, you got guys with a lot of talent in Bagley and Kevin Knox, but this offense Danny White has is not super complicated, but there is a lot of different motions. Danny likes to move guys around and set up defensive backs that he wants to go pick on, and you got to know where to line up and where to go in motion.
Pickup of 8 on that pass to Bagley. Shakes on the fly. Bonner instead goes corner. Knox, touchdown! Kevin Knox! First game as an Arizona Rattler! And he strikes for 6.
Much for Kevin Knox to know on this play except run real fast right by Otis Mounds and let Bonner throw it to me. Just straight go pattern down the sidelines. Again, you don't really have to know your plays to be able to run that one. And Knox has the hands. I played with him when he was at Arizona. He has the hands to make those plays.
Kyle Pooler on to the point after. Give it to him. And the Rattlers, with 50 seconds left to go here in the first half, have jumped ahead by 7 points. Once again, they lead the Bobcats 24-17 on the touchdown pass. Bonner to Kevin Knox.
Hey, where's my ball? Okay, first off, I want to welcome the new guys to Region 29. Plus, let's hear it for Chuck, who persuaded his 100th customer to try a sourdough jack. We ordered that eye, Chucky. Steve-O?
Okay, just a reminder from Jack, you may call these sourdough slices toasty but not crunchy. The patty is juicy, cheese is melted, and the bacon count is 4 pieces. Any questions?
Okay, let's be safe out there. Watch out for cats.
The Rattlers up by 7, and they're back at the Snake Pit next Saturday, June 6th. A rematch with the San Jose SaberCats. Be among the first 12,000 fans and get an Arizona Rattlers Cup courtesy of the Arizona Dodge dealers. Good seats still available, and you can call 514-TD-TD to watch the Rattlers and their Western Division nemesis, San Jose. Oh,
is that Tim Leander?
That's Tim
long
Nugent. Where's that Budweiser? Know when to say when. That would have been nicely timed.
Do you give him a ride home after the game, your brother?
Darren Hughes breaks loose. Pooler trips him up at midfield, and they'll throw a flag. Pooler did what he knows best. Use his feet.
Slide kick.
He learned that on the soccer field at Cactus High School.
First game we did against San Jose, the kicker from the SaberCats tried to trip Hunky Cooper twice and failed. But here you see Pooler. I'm juked, but you know what? I still got a pretty good foot left in me. Obviously a little illegal.
Tripping.
The penalty, believe it or not, is called tripping. But you'd rather have...
Runner. That's an 8-yard penalty from the end of the run.
Take that all day of the week. Would you rather have an 8-yard penalty or a 6-point touchdown?
Danny White will give him a plus for that in films tomorrow.
No question.
Whatever it takes, keep them out of the end zone, especially when you're under 1 minute to go in the first half.
Darren Hughes had a full head of steam, and Pooler had no chance except for that last little foot.
And you wonder why he was two-time All-State in soccer at Cactus High School.
Slide tackle, man.
The guy, he's now a math teacher and a coach at Centennial High School here in the Valley.
I hope he's not teaching that to those high school kids. I really hope so.
He's telling you he's not. McNair with Wells in motion. Goes short, and Kevin Knox was all over Curtis Caesar. No call. Incomplete. Second down, Florida. Oh, yeah. Caesar and Knox saying, yeah, that was some nice dancing.
Tony Henderson, two-time All-Big Ten defensive lineman at Michigan. They need his motor going full speed. He has to be on the quarterback all night. Good job of taking McNair to the ground. I always say with quarterbacks, the more you get them on the ground, the better, because that starts to add up as the game goes on.
He's been one of the most productive linemen, too, with a pair of pass deflections and a sack coming in for Tony Henderson. Second down now. 40 seconds to go until halftime. McNair thrown down. They'll call it incomplete. Tony Henderson there with a hand up. He and Bo Kelly rattling the Bobcat quarterback.
We haven't seen Brian Easter back in the game with his injury, so Bo Kelly steps up. Great job of getting around the fullback who was blocking him, but he got beat to the punch. They got there about the same time. Tony Henderson doing a nice job getting around the left guard.
Bo Kelly, his numbers as a linebacker. And again, the Rattlers' leading rusher this season. Third down for Florida. McNair, flags down. Curtis Cecil can't hang on. Cecil Doggett with the tremendous coverage there at the 5-yard line. Celebrating.
Thrown in the area of a hold, and there's your indication. Now the question becomes, will Danny accept the penalty?
Or make it fourth down.
I would make it fourth down. Backing them up 5 yards is not going to make that much of a difference.
Number 28 on the offense. Penalties declined.
That's the right call. That's the right call by Danny Whiter. You know, you don't want to put the defense in another third down situation. This is an offensive game. Get the team in fourth down as soon as possible. Now you've got a long field goal try with Skinny upright.
30-yard field goal attempt by Carlos Huerta with 30 seconds on the clock. Huerta, wide left. Parnell comes down with it. He goes down at the 3-yard line. Flags are down. There was contact as he was trying to make the reception off the nets. Those nets are live. Defenders cannot make contact until Parnell brings it in.
Just like a punt or a kickoff in a regular game, the receiving team has the right, even though it was a field goal attempt, as soon as it leaves the kicker's foot, it now becomes just like a kickoff. The receiving team has the opportunity to catch it. Travis Pearson ran into Sean Parnell as he was catching the ball. Hunky going for it, Sean Parnell. Wisely goes up high and gets it because Hunky was not going to get to that ball. And you could see Pearson. There's the call, interference, the opportunity for the catch. But a good job by Sean Parnell. Wisely went up and got that ball at its highest point. You don't want that ball coming down and getting on the ground. It's a live ball, and if Florida recovers it, it's their ball either as a touchdown or first down wherever they recover it.
So at 23 seconds left to go here until the half, Rattlers will get a little extra yardage on the penalty. And I would say that's plenty of time to do a little something here in the final moments.
You got 3 timeouts. Any incomplete pass kills the clock. Any ball thrown that the ball carrier gets out of bounds, the clock stops. There's plenty of opportunity for them to get this in the end zone.
Knox wide left. Hunky in the slot, shakes on the fly. Bonner rolls left, whips it. Short and intercepted by Tony Wells. Wells still going at the 15 and taken down, flipped there by Hunky Cooper. So again, you have to go back to that sore throwing shoulder of Cedric Bonner. Not often do you see him come up short on a long bomb to Shakes, but it happens here.
Got a little pressure around his feet, and Bonner did not get his feet set at all. Just could not get enough air underneath that ball. Shakes had Tony Wells beat, but Wells played the ball. That's what a good defensive back does. As soon as you can see him running right underneath Calvin to get to that poorly thrown ball. Bonner could not get his feet set, though, because of the pressure from the Bobcats up front.
Only Bonner's third interception of the season. McNair with 11 seconds on the clock. Airs it out. Deep. Oh, and a tremendous collision. Curtis Caesar and the official. The takedown in the back of the end zone. The Rattlers had a ninth man on the field.
Poor guy. Poor guy. He's trying to do his job. He's got no pads on. Just gets housed in the back of the end zone. Look at that face. Oh, he's thinking about throwing a flag on himself.
You know what? I think he was looking at Curtis Caesar. He wanted to see if he was all right. seconds, and Huerta will attempt the field goal. 52-yarder, 51 yards make that for Huerta. 51 yards with the uprights only 9 feet apart. Huerta's first game of arena football. Blocked! And out of the end zone for the safety. Time runs out in the first half. The Rattlers special teams blocks the field goal by Huerta, goes out of the end zone for the 2-point safety, and they'll go into the locker room. On top, 26-17. You are not allowed an outside rush, but you're certainly able to put pressure on from the middle, and the Rattlers collapse.
Bo Kelly was lined up on the outside, but what he did was run through the guy that was blocking him, not around him. As long as he goes through him and not around him, it is a legal rush. So if you see Bo Kelly on the left side of your screen, he went inside the guy. If he'd have gone outside of him to block it, it would have been an illegal rush. They would have been able to re-kick it. Nice job by Bo Kelly, pushing his man right into the kicker and getting that hand up to get the block.
Stick around for our halftime show. Rattlers on top of the Bobcats, 26-17 on the WB.
Dinner may be the only time during the day your family's together. And here, it's too important to be interrupted by the phone. So important that if you order US West Caller ID now, you'll get a free Caller ID box, which shows you who's calling before you pick up the phone. And it logs the name, number, date, and time of incoming calls, so you'll know who to call when dinner's through. Call now and the Caller ID installation, as well as the Caller ID box, is free. Life's better here. US West.
We wanted the new Dodge Intrepid to be so powerful, so nimble, so sleek, and so slippery that it would fairly scream, "Drive me." The car and driver must have heard it, because they drove it. Then they named Intrepid one of the best. Dodge Intrepid. We're changing everything. Again. Lease a well-equipped Intrepid for as low as $274 a month with bonus cash for select Dodge and competitive owners.
The Room Store sells more quality Bassett furniture than anyone else in the Valley because we have the best selection and our unbeatable low price guarantee. And on sale till Tuesday. Get this rustic banister bed only $297, or this wash pine sleigh bed only $377, or this Bassett 18th century cherry poster bed only $497. Buy now and pay later with no interest and no payments till $19.99. Same as cash on every item in every room, only at the Room Store.
At the Room Store.
Did you graduate today? What if you did? How can Bank of America help you take on the world? Bank of America, put your future in motion.
Okay, guys.
Did you start a new job today? What if you did? How can Bank of America help you make the most of it?
This is the gray one, right?
Bank of America, put your life in motion.
Kids Club 61 presents Rattler's Tale.
The Rattlers' community involvement takes on many faces, and at the Rattlers' annual Youth Flag Football Tournament, game faces were the order of the day. This tournament is sponsored by the Rattlers and the City of Phoenix and is a great way for the community to get ready for another exciting year of Arizona Rattlers football.
Well, the Rattlers came to the City of Phoenix Parks, Recreation, and Library Department looking for a way to get to the kids. And since we had a flag football program in place, it was kind of a natural tie. We had the facilities and the program in place and a way to get to the kids in the community, so it was a natural.
Our players have been out at different sites, watching, helping, encouraging, and doing all the things that our guys do in the community often that a lot of people don't know about.
The idea behind the tournament is to promote the Rattlers Respect program through the ideals of teamwork, and that's something the Rattlers take very seriously.
Something we can do for the kids, you know, help them to understand that respect is a lot of things that if you give respect, you'll also give respect in return.
So that's an honor and a blessing in the same way if you can touch someone's life. And, you know, it's been a great program, and it's been a lot of fun, and the kids have been really responsive to it.
It's also a great chance for these kids to show they've got plenty of game when they hit the gridiron.
The kids just love it. The kids love being here in the arena, the chance to play where the professionals play, and just the experience of playing football is great for them.
It's definitely an incentive for them to be able to go in there and play, you know, championship games and have the guys walking around and see the kids looking up at them and like, whoa. But there were a couple of teams in there that I was pretty organized, and they were pretty tough.
Watch out, Rattlers fans. In a few years, some of these kids just might be suiting up and making some big plays in front of the greatest fans in arena football.
Started when they did a long time ago, and you know it's kind of good because they have something to look forward to. You know, things that you never know. If you stay straight, get good grades and stuff like that, you can be in our position one day.
That's your Rattler's Tale. I'm Amanda, WB61's kids correspondent.
This has been a Kids Club 61 Rattler's Tale.
We wanted the new Dodge Intrepid to be so powerful, so nimble, so sleek, and so slippery that it would fairly scream, "Drive me." Car and driver must have heard it because they drove it. Then they named Intrepid one of the best. Dodge Intrepid. We're changing everything. Again. Lease a well-equipped Intrepid for as low as $274 a month with bonus cash for select Dodge and competitive owners.
Your power is gone, cause your battery's died, and you need some help starting up your ride. Let's work together. Come on, let's work together. Because Checker understands every car, truck, wagon, or van.
Checker is your battery headquarters. From Hondas to Harleys, lawnmowers to Lincolns, we've got a tough X-Side heat beater or NASCAR battery that's just your size. Check.
When you pull into 76,
Come on, move it, guys.
you've got something in common with the drivers in NASCAR. Because for over 40 years, NASCAR has chosen 76 as their official fuel. And now they're 76 with new Pro Power. It's cleaner burning for more powerful performance on and off the track, no matter what you drive. Get the spirit of NASCAR. Get the spirit of 76.
The Rattlers leading the Bobcats 26-17 here at the half. Tom Leander back with Ed Cunningham, and we don't want to make excuses, but Cedric Bonner is hampered by a shoulder injury. He had the MRI this past week, so are we seeing the true Cedric Bonner here tonight?
No, we're not, and part of that reason is he hasn't been able to set his feet on a lot of his long balls. The one interception that he did throw, guys around his feet, he couldn't set his feet and get enough air under the ball.
You take a look at our quarterback comparison between Bonner and Fred McNair. McNair, 2 touchdowns and an interception. 9 of 22, though. If he doesn't pick it up, they have Clemente Gordon as a backup. And Buffington, their head coach, said he will not hesitate to go to Clemente Gordon over McNair.
I don't think it's been Fred McNair, though. I think the Rattlers have stepped it up in the defensive backfield like they had to. They've had great coverage downfield all day. I think it's more the coverage than it is the quarterback.
All right, we'll take a look at the first half highlights right after this on the WB. The Rattlers on top of the Bobcats, 26-17.
Dude, get down. It's my chair. Let's go. I'm not playing games.
Okay, here we go again.
Oh, dude.
He's got him right where he wants it. Just a bit outside.
Hey, those dog obedience classes really paid off.
Name your price on the burger. That's right.
Burger places are wheeling and dealing. 99-cent burgers, $2.99 combos. These great deals are just a great deal of fat. Fat is cheap. For a good deal without all the fat, come to Subway. Choose from 7 subs with 6 grams of fat or less. Add baked lays and a drink, and you have an entire meal with 8 fat grams or less.
Subway's chicken salad sub is only 4 grams of fat and so delicious.
Subway, the way a sandwich should be.
I can do it. I can do it. I can't do it. I can't stop smoking.
Oh, that's a big surprise.
Maybe next Monday.
Sure.
Maybe next year.
Why not?
Yeah, you know, cold turkey.
Cold turkey.
Ah, it's no use. I'm scum. I've always been
You want to
scum.
know something?
What?
It took you a long time to learn to smoke, right?
That's true. Very true. Yeah, but I worked at it.
What makes you think you can quit?
I don't know.
Just like that. Quitting takes practice.
I like that.
Well, call us. We'll show you how to quit slow. Slow for good.
I can do that.
I know you can.
On Walker,
Are you really ready to die for your country?
a secret military weapon has been stolen by a deranged lunatic.
He's testing her. Sounds like she passed.
The finish of Private War started long ago.
Schrader left them there to die. Walker was the only one to come out alive.
It's an all-out aerial assault.
He could come at you anytime, any place.
On the next,
This is one ambush you won't survive.
Walker, Texas Ranger.
Tonight at 10 on WB61 and Cox Cable Channel 6.
First half highlights coming your way here on the WB. First quarter action, it was Fred McNair looking up top to Bernard Edwards, 10-yard strike.
Nice catch by Edwards. Looked like it bounced off the turf. Actually bounced off his arm.
Your WB fantastic plays continue with Bonner, the corner route to Shake.
Calvin wide open. That ball could have been thrown any number of places, and it still would have been a touchdown.
Kyle Tueller added a 52-yard field goal, making it 10-7 after the first quarter. Then Bonner looking for Hunky Cooper.
Hunky Cooper got into the action early. It was obvious Danny White wanted him part of the offense tonight.
It was 17-10 Rattlers, but McNair pumps, fakes out Parnell, hits Bernard Edwards. They're tied at 17, and then Cedric comes right back looking for his so-called rookie in Kevin Knox. First game as an Arizona Rattler. What a way to start.
Kevin Knox had a little trouble lining up earlier. This time they just put him out there and said, run by everybody. And Kevin listened, did a good job.
Rattlers then blocked the field goal attempt by Huerta to end the first half. The safety made it 26-17. That's how we stand at the end of the first half. Third quarter coming your way on the WB.
Take me to the river where the jackpots flow. Take me to the river where the winners go. Take me to Gila River casinos where the winners go. Go to the river, Gila River casinos. Go to the river, Gila River casinos.
Impressive power, payload, and towing. 3 important bonuses for Dodge Dakota owners. Now here are a few more. A low $154 a month lease, or $1,000 cash back on select models. Plus, select customers get a Dodge owner's bonus for an additional $500 cash back, which means you could own a new Dodge Dakota for as little as $12,920. Now that's a bonus you can bank on, but only for a limited time. See the friendly Dodge dealer near you.
For bumping it up and cooling it down, for cooling it out, you want the best around. Let's work together. Come on, let's work together. Because Checker understands every car, truck, wagon, or van.
Checker sells more brand name fluids and automotive chemicals than anyone in the West, like McGuire's Gold Class Liquid Car Wax, so highly reflective it's brilliant. Checker.
Let's work together.
7th all-time meeting between the Rattlers and the Bobcats. Rattlers leading the series 5-1. They swept both games last year against Florida, but the Bobcats have been knocking on the door here in the first half, and coming your way are the first half stats. Gila River Casinos bringing them our way. Winners go where jackpots flow.
Kind of scary that one of the worst offenses in the league is gaining more yardage than the best offense in the league, but the one that really jumps off the screen, possessions to TDs, 50% for the Rattlers. Got to be up around 80 or 90%, especially an offense that is as good and as proficient as the Arizona Rattlers are.
A lot of stops on both sides. Florida 2 of 6, Rattlers 50% on their possessions. We saw a couple of injuries earlier in the game in the first half. It was Brian Easter who went down with a knee injury, Rattlers linebacker, fullback, and then Cedric Walker, the hitman, second in the Arena League in tackles, and he got drilled by his own player, Herb Duncan, here in the first half on the interception.
Full speed, you can see his leg kind of bends the wrong way as Herb Duncan goes low trying to cover his man. How he hung on to that ball, I don't know. What a play by Cedric Walker. You can see his leg was kind of flopping around. He got up and walked off, but then later we saw him still limping around and going in towards the locker room.
All right, we have our Cub reporter on the sideline, Randy Gatewood. And Randy, I don't know if you can give us an update, but we just saw Cedric Walker, the tremendous interception, goes down with the knee injury. Will we see him or Brian Easter in the second half?
No, not too likely. The good thing is that they both do have some kind of injury right now. We can't determine exactly how long it's going to be, but we're thinking it's going to be around 3 to 4 weeks. So it's just one of those things that happens. It's a rough sport, you know.
Randy, it's unusual that the defense plays so well, and for some reason the offense hasn't stepped it up tonight. What do you think the problem on the offense has been so far?
I think it's just a matter of timing. You know, every offense has that game that they really come out and perform the way they're capable of performing, and unfortunately, we haven't done that yet. You know, the thing is, we got to find out the right combinations and get back to doing some of the things we did last season. I know they say don't talk about last season, but we got to go back and kind of get back to basics and just fundamentally doing things right.
What kind of things did Danny talk about at halftime that need to get done on offense in the second half?
Just we got to execute. The only thing that's stopping us on offense is we're stopping ourselves, you know. And if we continue to do that, of course, we're probably going to begin to lose ball games. You know, we honestly believe that no team can beat us except ourselves. So that's all we got to do is go out and perform like we're capable of doing on offense.
Randy, I can't wait till you get healthy, but you've got a job up here in the booth anytime you want it.
Hey, thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate it.
Sorry, Ed.
Yeah, I'll just go home.
Hunky fumbles it. Wells picks it up on the kickoff. There's a flag down, but Hunky Cooper has just fumbled the opening kickoff to the second half. Tony Wells holding the pigskin high in the air as his trophy to begin the second half. Florida is waving their arms. They're going to call off the penalty, which appears to be against the Rattlers. And it is. So for the second straight game, Hunky Cooper has fumbled a kickoff return. Luckily against Houston, Cedric Walker picked it up and took it in for a touchdown. This time, not so lucky.
Unusual for him to give the ball up like that. Marvin Davis didn't seem to hit right on the ball, but that ball came out fairly easily from Hunky Cooper. That's 2 games that happens. Really unusual for him.
And nobody feels worse than number 14, the ultimate competitor. Hunky, by the way, is closing in on a tremendous milestone in the Arena Football League. 5,000 reception yards, 5,000 return yards. He only needs a little over 300 more return yards to join George LaFrance as the only 2 players to achieve that. Right now, it's McNair keeping it for the touchdown. Florida opens up the second half with the fumble recovery, and then from the first play from scrimmage, McNair takes it in. There is a flag, though, down at the 8-yard line.
And there's a flag on the 2, and there's a flag on the A in the end zone. Referees didn't like something out there.
Delay of game, number 8 on the offense. Ball was placed into the stands.
Okay.
After the touchdown. The touchdown is good. The penalty of 3 yards will be administered on the PAT.
They shouldn't call that penalty delay of game. You start to think, oh, did he not call the play in time? That is called when they spike the ball into the end zone. See the fake to Marvin Davis. What a nice job. Good fake by McNair to hide the ball, but he's just going to spike the ball, and somehow it bounces into the end zone. That penalty should be called not delay of game.
How about a budget penalty?
But let's save some money penalty.
Exactly. It's the AFL budget penalty. We need to keep those footballs. The fans get to keep anything that goes into the stands. Hang on to these $100 footballs. Hang on to your hat. The Rattlers are only leading by 2.
Hey, where's my ball? Okay, first off, I want to welcome the new guys to Region 29. Plus, let's hear it for Chuck, who persuaded his 100th customer to try a sourdough jack. We ordered that eye, Chucky. Steve-O?
Okay, just a reminder from Jack, you may call these sourdough slices toasty but not crunchy. The patty is juicy, cheese is melted, and the bacon count is 4 pieces. Any questions?
Okay, let's be safe out there. Watch out for cats.
Impressive power, payload, and towing. 3 important bonuses for Dodge Dakota owners. Now here are a few more. A low $154 a month lease, or $1,000 cash back on select models. Plus, select customers get a Dodge owner's bonus for an additional $500 cash back, which means you could own a new Dodge Dakota for as little as $12,920. Now that's a bonus you can bank on, but only for a limited time. See the friendly Dodge dealer near you.
Back here at the America West Arena, register to win 2 tickets at participating GM Goodwrench Service Centers. Join the Lugnuts, the Rattlers. Win a couple of tickets to join them here at our Rattlers game. 26-24, Rattlers lead is down to 2 after a shattering beginning to the second half. Hunky fumbling, McNair taking it in on the quarterback keeper. Huerta's kickoff back into the hands of Hunky. Finally tracked it down and thrown down into the end zone for the touchback. So Hunky still having trouble keeping his hands on the football.
Tom, the Rattlers have struggled in a couple of games this year, but this is really the first game that I've seen them not being the aggressor. Florida now has life right at the start. One of my keys to the game was don't let Florida hang around. Well, they're not just letting them hang around. They're letting them back in this ball game. And if they don't start getting some movement with the football and offense and putting some points up, they're going to have their hands full because this team, this Florida team, is looking for anything, and they're getting it against the defending world champions.
They're a shark. They're sensing a little blood in the ocean. Cooper wants to redeem himself. First down yardage to the 18-yard line.
There again you see Danny White getting Hunky involved into the offense. Hunky's a very good underneath receiver. And here's tough to take down. Darren Hughes has to realize you got to wrap a guy like that up. Hunky is too strong from the waist down to try to go low on him. He'll just step right over you or run right through you.
1st and 10 now. Bonner has taken in, has thrown 7 passes, complete 2 Hunky. This time he goes opposite side to Shake. Calvin Scheckschneider scored that early touchdown in the first quarter, but has been fairly quiet since.
You know, it's interesting when Randy Gatewood said we don't want to think about last year, but we need to go back to last year of how we executed. Last year, Danny, his game plan was always to let Bonner throw some underneath things and get the over-the-top stuff opened up. This year, the over-the-top stuff, the long balls, have worked so well, they've really never had to develop an underneath passing attack. Well, that may have to happen tonight against Florida.
Florida has certainly put their eyes and their focus on Scheckschneider. Defensively, Bo Kelly busting through for the first down. The Rattlers leading rusher rams his way all the way down to the 12-yard line of Florida. Nice piece of running by the bull, Bo Kelly.
New little wrinkle again by the Rattlers. You can see Flint Fleming, he's going to pull out and block right there. The receiver comes down and crack blocks on the defensive end. And it just opens up the lane for Bo Kelly. Look at Fleming run the defensive back right by Bo Kelly. Great job by him.
Bonner to Hunky. And he's down at the 7. So Florida giving up the yardage short of the first down. But again, keeping an eye on Calvin Scheckschneider, Bonner is forced to go to those shorter routes because Florida is all over his shape.
I was really impressed when I was watching film of Florida, their ability to break on the ball and cover receivers. Calvin, the best receiver in the Arena Football League for the last year and a half, and these Florida Bobcats done a great job of slowing him down.
Bonner. Pass deflected up in the air. Nobody saw it. And it falls harmlessly in the end zone. 3rd down now for the Rattlers.
Really nowhere for Bonner to go. Pretty good protection, has time to set his feet. But everybody was covered in the end zone. He tried to force one in there. See a little option route by Hunky Cooper. Hughes is there to get his hand on the ball. Bobcats very impressive in the defensive backfield this evening.
Give credit to Darren Hughes, Otis Mounds, and Jarrett Bledsoe. They are the 3 DBs doing the job for Florida. Big third down play for the Rattlers. Bonner lobs it. Scores! Rattlers, there's a flag down. There's a push. Will it go against Calvin? Will it go against Florida?
Pass interference. Under defense. Valley's decline. Touchdown.
There's your answer. Bonner, a little softball lob to Shake. Second touchdown connection between the two here tonight. And boy, was he covered.
A little too tightly. Darren Hughes got a little piece of his jersey. Nice job of Calvin to stay in bounds, though, as they went down the sidelines, because if he goes out of bounds, he can't come back in and catch that ball.
Cooler, wide left on the point after. And it's a 6-point Rattler lead. That could hurt. 10:20 to go here in the third quarter. Bonner and Shake into the zone for 6 more. 32-24, Rattlers up.
I know I shouldn't smoke. I've tried to quit a million times. I know about lung cancer, strokes, heart disease, all that stuff. I mean, they're listed right on the side of the pack. Still doesn't make quitting any easier. But I'm going to keep at it. Because the way I see it, if the reasons on the side of the pack don't get to me, the reason on the front will.
On the next Pensacola Wings of Gold.
DX gas kills in exactly 6 seconds.
Will a stolen vial of nerve gas cost the Sea Dragons their lives?
What are you trying to prove here?
I'm trying to stop the bad guys from winning.
And
This is not just any team.
Colonel Kelly faces the toughest decision of his career.
I have 4 lieutenants.
Then one of them has to go.
James Brolin stars in Pensacola Wings of Gold.
Tonight at 11 on WB61.
The most comfortable seat in the house is back for all Rattler home games. Enter to win your spot at any Metro Phoenix room store where they put it all together and save you more. Eric, Joe, and Buddy.
Tom, I'm going with that guy was Buddy. The guy leaning back, resting, saying he's Buddy. He looks like a buddy.
Another case of bad math here on my part. 32-24, 8-point Rattler lead, so that point after doesn't hurt as much as had it been a 6-point lead. As Cooler steps up, lost one, off the net into the hands of Darren Hughes. Hughes cuts at the 15, still up to the 20, and dive bombs to the 22.
Even after giving up the touchdown, Darren Hughes was the man who got beat by Calvin. Throws a nice move on Cecil Doggett and almost takes it the distance. This Florida team, Rattlers made a mistake letting these guys hang around this long because they are energized. They just gave up a touchdown, but you could see with that return, they had good crisp blocks, knocked some Rattlers around to open some holes for Hughes. This team's here to play.
Fred McNair, the pitch to Pearson. We've seen that play now 3 times. The sweep left. Have to mix in a little run with the air attack in arena football just to keep the line on it.
Every now and then you'll spring one of those. Glenn Fleming did a nice job from his defensive end spot of widening out.
Okay, 35 years of coaching experience.
In talking to a few of the guys in the locker room before the game, they were telling me this man has not slept much in the last few days. Takes it very personal what happens on that field, and it's obvious his guys have come to play tonight.
Oh, they're going for a little trickery. Hughes up top, looking for Bernard Edwards. But Hughes overthrows his intended receiver.
There's good coaching. Sean Parnell did not fall for that fake. Number 15 did not bite on the run fake. He stayed with Edwards all the way down the field. If he steps up for one split second to try to defend that run, that's 6 points. But that's good discipline by Sean Parnell.
And not a bad pass by Hughes. If you're going to throw it and be off target, do it deep. 3rd down and 8. Big test for the Rattler D. McNair. Doggett tried to dive and tip it away, but it went right past him into the hands of Curtis Caesar. Doggett is wondering if he has holes in his hands. He thought he had a glove on it.
Absolute bullet by Fred McNair. Very lively arm, throws that out pass with a lot of zip. Doggett just misses knocking that ball away. Nice job by Caesar to reel it in.
Cecil Doggett, end of last season after the Rattlers won their Arena Bowl, he went on and joined the practice squad for the Buffalo Bills. That was a young man with a lot of talent. McNair, quick hit over the middle, Edwards, and he carries Parnell into the end zone. The Florida Bobcats high rise takes one of the Rattler defensive back Smurfs into the end zone, and Florida knocking once again.
Question will be, will they go for 2 points? Parnell goes 5'9", 160. Edwards, big fella, 6'5", 200-plus pounds. He's going to win that battle every time, and they will go for 2. They put the ball on the left hash. That is the right play. Touches to 1 does you no good. If you miss a 2-point conversion, you're still within a field goal, striking distance with a field goal.
And you talk about energizing your team. If Florida can convert here, they will gain a tremendous amount of confidence. 2-point conversion attempt. Hughes wide open in the back of the end zone for 2, and the Bobcats have joined the Rattlers at 32. The Florida Bobcats, looking for their first victory of this young season, have tied things up with the Arizona Rattlers. 32 apiece. You're not going anywhere.
On Walker.
Are you really ready to die for your country?
A secret military weapon has been stolen by a deranged lunatic.
He's testing her. Sounds like she passed.
The finish of Private War started long ago.
Schrader left them there to die. Walker was the only one to come out alive.
It's an all-out aerial assault.
He could come at you anytime, any place.
On the next.
This is one ambush you won't survive.
Walker, Texas Ranger.
Tonight at 10 on WB61 and Cox Cable Channel 6.
That score is correct. The Bobcats and the Rattlers all nodded at 32, and Darren Hughes was lonely in the back of the end zone.
This set up because Fred McNair had all day. They're just running crossing patterns in the back of the end zone. It's impossible as a defensive back to stay with a guy that long. You can see McNair had all day to sit there and look at it. When they run those crossing patterns, defensive backs are going to get picked off, and that's why Hughes is wide open.
His sidewinders was closer than any Rattlers defensive player. Huerta's kick hits the soft net and goes out of bounds, so the Rattlers get it on the touchback. And that's exactly what you want to do as a place kicker in this Arena League. You hit that soft net, it drops straight down. There's no chance for a return. Either that or you kick it over the post.
Florida has found an answer with Carlos Huerta, his first game in the Arena League, and he looks like an all-pro.
Let's go to Bob McMillan, once again wired for the Rattlers.
Here we go. They're calling his number, Tommy. Doesn't say much, does he?
Nope. Had he gone the distance, he probably would have had a little bit something to say. But he did get the Rattlers some safety yards there close to their own end zone.
I've known Bob for a few years, his years here with the Rattlers. Not one to talk much, but gosh, does he play hard.
Well, that's another reason we chose Bob McMillan, too. We didn't want somebody out there throwing out expletives to our youthful audience out there.
Tough football player. That's what you got with Bob McMillan.
What it sounds like to crash into the boards in arena football. And Big Mac's hurt.
Blew out his knee back in 1996. Let's hope that that is not the same knee.
We may want to turn down that mic now.
That is the knee that is heavily braced that he injured back in 1996. Blew it out, missed the entire season.
This has been a war zone for the Rattlers. They lost Brian Easter to a knee injury. Cedric Walker went down. And now Bob McMillan. Again, we don't know the severity of the Easter and Walker injuries. And this is what happened to Big Man. I'll tell you what.
If he fell back on it wrong or what.
It takes courage to play in arena football.
I thought maybe that hit right there did something, but it looks like his knees. Oh, you can see the ankle twisting underneath right there. He gets up and helps himself off, so hopefully he can walk it off. But I tell you, they cannot afford to lose another fullback linebacker. They've already lost Easter. They would be down to one, although Flint Fleming does play fullback and linebacker. They only have 7 linemen dressed tonight.
Bob McMillan said that he felt something pop. McMillan said he felt something pop. We didn't have his wireless microphone up for obvious reasons, but our audio people did say he felt something pop. Bonner this half, 4 of 5, 30 yards and a touchdown, and he's running out of weapons. He was looking for Bagley on the first down play, but it goes incomplete.
They've got Marvin Bagley in the game and Kevin Knox, along with Calvin Schexnayder. Those are their 3 wide receivers. I understand that you have to get some people some rest, but at this juncture of the game, I think you have to have like a Herb Duncan and definitely a Hunky Cooper in the game. We just have to have those guys suck it up. I realize they need rest, but I think you have to have those guys in the ball game.
Herman Taylor shadowing Schexnayder, 32-32, all tied up. Pumps to Shake. Instead goes opposite side to Kevin Knox, and Knox is nicked up. Ed, did you bring your pads? We're running out of bodies.
Unfortunately, with all the weight I've lost, I'd probably have to play defensive back at this point.
You know, I was going to say place kicker.
I think I'm a little heavy for place kicker still. 220 is just a little heavy.
Luckily, Knox has gotten up for the Rattlers after rolling around there on the ground. He has a pair of catches, 25 yards, and a touchdown in his debut game. 3rd down and 6 for the Rattlers. And I think it's safe to say they are reeling at this point. Tied up by Florida here in the second half. They need a big play. They get a first down, Shake, and immediately sent to the turf. That Florida defense is as advertised.
Even when they make a good play, they're paying for it. Calvin just running a little stop route, runs off Otis Mounds, makes the catch, but Jarek Bledsoe tattoos him. This Florida team is here to play. And Arizona, Calvin and his boys, they better step it up because this team is not going anywhere.
You see Herman Taylor there. He's been one of the players shadowing Shake. Bledsoe, the man who laid the pop on Schexnayder, was the team's leading tackler and in the top 10 in tackles in the Arena League. Knox on the fly. Bonner, firearm, over the middle, incomplete. Pressure applied by number 90, Steve Clark.
Again, Bonner not as accurate as we have seen him. Jamie Washell gets beat to the inside by Steve Clark, especially to that left side because that's his throwing arm. If he gets any pressure that side, it's going to slow his motion down.
Here's a telling statistic. Schexnayder, 9 catches, but for only 57 yards. 2 touchdowns, but only 57 yards.
He's averaging over 20 per catch on the season.
They've all been shorties. Now he's looking deep. Shake, can he get 3? Yes! Right for 6 more. That is why Calvin Schexnayder is all arena. You can have a player shake, but the Fresno Flat will reel it in.
They needed a big play from one of their big players, and he made it. Fought off the defensive back the whole way. They were kind of playing that little patty cake game. Calvin plays that game better than anybody in the Arena Football League.
Third touchdown reception for Calvin, 17 now on the season. Came in tied for the lead in touchdown receptions in the league. Pooler missed his last point after. It's a fake. Donnie Davis gets it in. Donnie Davis sticks it in. Danny White talking to Kevin Knox saying you were supposed to lay a block to help Donnie Davis get it into the end zone. Didn't matter. The Arena Bowl 11 MVP gets a little action.
Love the call by Danny White. Absolutely love it. He sent a message earlier on that drive with his entire offense. They ran the ball a couple times, got some tough yards, and now he says, we're going for the jugular, guys.
Rattlers back on top by 8. Donnie Davis, the star of Arena Bowl 11, gets the two-point conversion. Shake. All arena. He's the man.
Here, a home office means the freedom to be closer to the things you love. The very same things that can take you away from the phone. But because it's so important to see who called and when, if you order caller ID now, you'll get a free caller ID box, which logs the name, number, date, and time of incoming calls. Call now and the caller ID installation, as well as the caller ID box, is free. Life's better here. U.S. West.
Rattlers up by 8, courtesy of this two-point conversion.
Donnie Davis just going to take the ball and run right away on the snap of the ball. Bo Kelly blocks 2 Florida Bobcats and helps Donnie Davis get in the end zone for 2.
But was Danny White satisfied? No, he saw a breakdown on that play.
Kevin, where are you supposed to be? Again, you got a new player, first game on the active roster. Tough to figure out where to line up sometimes when you've only been with the team for a week.
Pooler nearly got the scoreboard, a high lofting kick, and Taylor put his back foot out of the end zone for the touchback. So Pooler, very interesting, and we were here when he tried out a few weeks ago for the Rattlers. They knew they wanted to move Michael Geary. They bring Kyle Pooler in. He was busting some balls up over the net. They thought that they were going to have to protect some of the patrons up in the Copper Club. Now, Pooler has not displayed that type of power, but with some height on the kicks and with some speed on the kicks, he's made it difficult for the return men.
Trying a couple different things, but you got to be careful when you lay it up that high. If you hit the scoreboard, it comes out to the 20.
Fred McNair, admirable numbers, and he's kept his Florida Bobcats right in this ball game. That's the most important statistic or memo for Fred McNair.
Now, if you're Florida, you cannot let Arizona start to breathe a little light. You've got to keep the pressure on them.
Let's go right, let's go right, let's go right, wing deep, let's go right deep.
Buffington calling right wing deep, it sounded.
That's the beginning of the play, not the end of it.
He looks right, goes left to Bernard Edwards. I'll let you call the plays.
We couldn't hear the end of the play, so we didn't know what the routes were going to be. But McNair just needs to stay settled, take what Arizona's going to give him, because they're going to give him underneath stuff for the rest of the game. Just don't want to get beat if you're Arizona. You don't want to get beat deep. You have to stay settled. Realize you're still in this ball game, and winding down the third quarter against the defending Arena Bowl champions. That's pretty admirable.
McNair has played in the World League and the CFL. Also had a tryout for the Cowboys. Going up top, Curtis Caesar. The Bobcats come right back.
33 yards for a touchdown.
McNair to Curtis Caesar. That has been a lethal combo for the Bobcats.
Into the third quarter, but they still have to attempt the untimed extra point. And again,
this is an untimed down.
the Bobcats, thank you. The Bobcats will go for 2 because Danny White forced them to do that by going for 2 and were successful in their last try.
What will you do?
Danny having a discussion with Herb Duncan as McNair steps to the line. Bobcats to tie things up with a 2-point conversion if they can get over the line. Pass tipped away, flag down, Kevin Knox. And Kevin protesting wildly.
Well, he's a wide receiver. He should know what he did wrong. He had the right hand out to make the stop, but that left hand all over the back of the wide receiver.
Number 11 on the defense. Half the distance to the goal. Repeat the try.
Very interesting now at half distance to the goal. Now they can also run the ball.
This is still an
Watch the left hand of Kevin Knox draped all over the back of Bernard Edwards. That is what the call is. He actually turned Edwards' body around. They're going to call that every single time. The right hand was in position, but that left hand, he cannot grab the receiver. And as a receiver by trade, Kevin Knox should know that.
They now move it to the 1.5-yard line. 2-point conversion attempt to tie things up. Pitch to Pearson. And Pearson rumbles into the left side of the end zone and across our cameraman. And the Bobcats once again have pulled even with the Arizona Rattlers.
That penalty was big because it gave them a double option. They could throw or run the ball. You get inside the 2-yard line, and you can power it in with a guy like that.
The Rattlers' defensive secondary exploited once again. They're without Cedric Walker. They're without Randy Gatewood. And Air McNair throws in 6 more.
Attention, passengers holding numbers 1 through 40 can begin boarding. Passengers holding numbers 41 through 90 can begin boarding. All remaining passengers can now board. Thank you.
Here, a home office means the freedom to be closer to the things you love. The very same things that can take you away from the phone. But because it's so important to see who called and when, if you order caller ID now, you'll get a free caller ID box, which logs the name, number, date, and time of incoming calls. Call now and the caller ID installation, as well as the caller ID box, is free. Life's better here. U.S. West.
Budweiser has 12 breweries located across the country. The Budweiser that you get from your local brewery is usually the freshest beer available in the marketplace. Budweiser sells very quickly. The average age of Budweiser on the shelf is about 30 days. Having local breweries ensures that your Budweiser is the freshest possible beer it can be by the time you purchase it.
Did you send someone to college today? What if you did? How can Bank of America help with the next 4 years? Bank of America, put their future in motion. Did you make a difference today? What if you did? How would it make you feel? Bank of America, put the future in motion.
Your possession breakdown brought to you by Coca-Cola. You need a Coke because cheering is thirsty business, and there's a reason why we're tied at 40.
The Bobcats were 2 of 6 on possessions of touchdowns at halftime. They've scored on every possession in the second half. If they continue that, these Rattlers, they got a long haul in this fourth quarter.
A concerned Danny White, 3rd winningest coach in Arena Football League history. And Shakes taking it off the soft net. Parnell laid a terrible clip, was not called, and Scheckschneider down at the 4-yard line.
There's one team that's out there running around hitting people, and there's another team that's standing around watching some things, and that kick right there was a telltale of what's been going on in this game. The Bobcats are bringing the wood to the Arizona Rattlers.
That Florida defense intercepting one Cedric Bonner pass of 27, 149 yards, and 5 touchdowns. He has shakes in motion. Calvin has 3 of those touchdown catches. And he nearly broke the 4th.
But there's one Rattler who won't go away, and he's wearing number 8 on his chest. When they've needed big plays, Calvin has come up with them. This game may not be tied if it weren't for Calvin Schexnayder. The Rattlers may be behind, because Calvin's made play after play tonight. With his elusiveness, he almost turned that into 6 points.
And we calculated Shake's numbers going into this game. At this rate, he would have 144 receptions for the season, over 2,000 yards and 49 touchdowns. They'd all be AFL records. Pass batted down at the line of scrimmage by Marty Hoker.
You know, I think Mark McGuire's on pace to hit like 400 home runs right now, too.
You know what? He might reach it.
Marty Hoker spent a lot of time in the NFL with 3 different NFL practice squads, the Packers, the Falcons, and the Redskins. He's played a lot of football.
And the guy was a walk-on in college at Southern Illinois. Walk-on as a freshman, earned a scholarship, and started every game his next 3 years. Herb Duncan was on the fly. Bonner was looking for him, instead throws it away. And the referee gets popped again. We have another referee down on the turf.
We also have a happy fan with a football.
Is that the same guy? That is. Oh, poor number 10. He's just getting killed out there.
Bonner has time early, but again, that Florida defensive backfield holding their own against the best offense in the league. And there you see Bonner had to the last minute of this game try to make something happen. He threw that one away as a souvenir.
3rd down now and 10 for Cedric Bonner. Quite an athlete in his own right. And he's just hoping it's not coming his way, because Bonner has a lethal left firearm. Loses the snap. The ball's loose. Picked up by Tony Wells. He's gone. The Arizona Rattlers, dare I say it, appear snake bit here tonight in their own snake pit.
Something that's done thousands and thousands and thousands of times. Darren Kenny and Cedric Bonner with a missed snap. You can go through weeks and weeks of practice and games and not have that happen, but for some reason in key moments, both guys are a little more tense, the center and the quarterback. There's Mark Tucker, who's now playing guard, not center, but just get a little more tense with the point in game that you're in, and bad things happen.
The Bobcats go the conventional route for that point after the 1-point conversion. Danny White, Calvin Schexnayder, they're scratching their heads here in Phoenix. The world champs up against the rope.
We invented a digital engineering process. Then we built Dodge Intrepid. We asked for a powerful engine. The computers carved out a 200-horsepower gem. We asked for a comfortable cabin. It came with stretch-your-leg space. Styling should reflect the car's personality, so we asked for a polished look. Billions of bytes later, Intrepid was sleek and slippery. Dodge Intrepid. We're changing everything. Again. Now, select Dodge and competitive owners can get a well-equipped Intrepid for about $19,700.
Sometimes I wish the things I want to do and the things I have to do could just get along. AirTouch. It could change your life.
And number 14 of
They are stunned here at the America West Arena, where the winless Bobcats are leading the defending world champions. The normally raucous Rattlers crowd can't believe their eyes. These fans are the craziest in the league.
They call it the snake pit. Well, these people look like they've been bitten. They can't believe what's going on here.
But there is still plenty of time to salvage things. Scheckschneider takes it off the bar. Shake drilled into the boards by 3 members of the Bobcats. And that was nearly danger for the Rattlers. That bounced off of 2 bars. Scheckschneider luckily there to retrieve it for the Rattlers. Take a look at our throw to guys, brought to you by Checker Auto Parts. Checker Auto Parts, the parts you need, the low price, guaranteed. Shakes, nice evening, 8 catches, 3 TDs. Hunky with 7 and a score.
But the yards are down. With 8 catches, Calvin usually would have about 160 yards right now. That's what's hurting them. They just haven't been able to get many big plays tonight.
Bonner gets that snap cleanly and snaps it over to Cooper. And I'll tell you what, Florida has been pounding Rattlers into the boards all night. This team is aggressive, and you have to credit their head coach, Rick Buffington, the whole staff, for getting the team prepared to take on the Rattlers.
They could have come in here and very easily, with a loud crowd, all the history here, the 2 champions, and just bowed down to their feet. But Florida has done just the opposite. They've hung around, kept this game close. It looked a little bleak early, and now all of a sudden they're sitting with a 7-point lead, and they're the aggressor. They're the ones who are taking all the jabs and taking all the punches. Rattlers are on their heels taking those punches.
It is like a prize fight with the world champ getting drilled by the underdog. But all it will take is a roundhouse left. The left arm of Cedric Bonner to throw them back into this game.
Oh, God, that was corny. That was corny.
You liked it that much, huh?
Yeah, that was good. Little pressure from the backside on Bonner. Fortunately, it wasn't from that front side. You know, when he gets it from the left side, usually it kind of stops his motion. He has kind of a sidearm motion. When you get any type of pressure on him, makes him kind of get out of the way and makes him kind of float that ball a little bit. That came from the backside from Marty Kurtz again, having himself a nice game.
Bonner wants a timeout. 9:37, a little confusion as he stepped to the line. And we'll keep it right here. Herb Duncan on that previous play taking in his first reception of the night. And when you talk about players, they're going to have to fill the gap for Randy Gatewood, who will catch you 5 to 7 passes a game. You'd think Herb Duncan might be a little bit more involved in the offensive scheme and some of the passes coming his way. Take a look at the Rattlers, who are back at the Snake Pit next Saturday, June 6th, the rematch with the San Jose SaberCats, who they handily beat. And if you're one of the first 12,000 fans, you get an Arizona Rattlers Cup, courtesy of the Arizona Dodge dealers. Plenty of good seats still available. Call 514-TD-TD.
The Rattlers need right about now a couple of those. Down 7, 9:37 left to go in the 4th quarter.
Hunky Cooper has also left the field, I'm just told, Ed. The injury run continues.
Have Herb Duncan, Marvin Bagley, and Calvin Scheckschneider as your receivers, and hurts when you can't have a guy like Hunky Cooper. He makes so many things happen in the underneath. That's what allows a guy like Calvin Scheckschneider to get open on the deep stuff when Bonner has Hunky running those underneath routes.
There's Hunky. Has that right ankle sprain, the left shoulder sprain, held out of practice 3 days this week. But if he has pads still on, he'll find some way to get back out there on the field. 1st and 10 for Bonner. 9:37 to go on the clock. He has Herb Duncan in motion. Cross field to Shake. Shake's making a move on Bledsoe, who does get him out of bounds at the 17-yard line. Jarek Bledsoe, the top defensive player on this team. 7 pass deflections, 25 tackles coming into the game, and he wasn't letting Calvin go anywhere.
They tried to set up a little flanker screen. Mark Tucker was trying to get out from his guard spot, and I believe the turf monster got a hold of him because there he is taking a little belly slide. He couldn't quite get out there to set a block for Calvin, but with Calvin's shaky moves, he was able to get 5.
Bledsoe played with the Seahawks, by the way, in 1995, and last season with the Anaheim Piranhas. So a lot of players out here with that NFL experience. Bonner whips it good. It's safe for the 6. Touchdown pass of the night. Calvin's 4th TD reception.
Calvin ran a double move route. He ran the post, and then he came back out, and Otis Mounds, have to feel sorry for Otis. It's just very difficult to cover a guy who has that many moves and runs precise routes like Calvin Scheck-Snyder. This is a key kick here, Tom. They've had some struggles with the extra point. This is huge.
Fuller, calm and collected. Hammers it home. The Rattlers tied up with the Bobcats. Calvin Scheck-Snyder with the Velcro hand, helping to tie things up here at the America West Arena.
All right, at first it was a money thing. Look, I just didn't want another bill at the end of the month. Here's my thinking. Cox Cable's only about $1 a day. Whole family gets to watch what they want to watch. News, sports, movies. They're at new networks all the time.
Call Cox Communications today at 277-1000 and get free connection for savings of up to $37.
Come on, it's a no-brainer. If you're not watching Cox Cable, what are you watching?
I don't know, Doc. I just woke up with the worst backache. I keep getting reoccurring headaches. Can you do anything for me?
Kid goes out of bounds and goes head over heels.
I'm pretty sure it's my collarbone. It's swollen.
It's my throat. For some reason, it just really hurts.
Wow, and all this time I thought you just treated the pros, and here you are giving a shot to little old... Ow!
Truly Nolan, stinger of the game. We picked this great hit as our Truly Nolan stinger of the game, Bill Vinovich. Back of the end zone, Mr. Official going down.
Curtis Caesar running a post route. Vinovich got in his way, shakes it off. Incomplete pass, but I think he was hurt a little more than he wanted to show. He's a little more embarrassed than anything else.
And what a difference a touchdown makes. The Rattlers faithful, 15,677. They're back into it. Darren Hughes takes it off the net. Hughes still up at the 10. Yanks down at the 12. Tony Henderson on the stop.
The way the Rattlers defense played in the first and part of the second quarter needs to return. They need to play great defense downfield, do not get beat deep, and get some pressure on the quarterback. Doug Kay knows that his defensive backs can't hold on forever. He needs the boys up front, Tony Henderson, Rusty James, Bob McMillan, Jamie Washell. He needs those guys getting in McNair's face.
And you mentioned a name that's very important, Bob McMillan, back in that lineup after what appeared to be a pretty severe knee injury. McNair over the middle, he's got Tony Wells. Wells thrown in the boards by Parnell. Tony Wells, the man who picked up that fumble on the snap by Bonner and took it into the end zone, now coming up with a huge reception and a big gainer, and we're all over it.
Here's Tony Wells who runs off. Curtis Caesar ran downfield, and you could see Sean Parnell go with the runoff receiver. That was the mistake. He should have stayed underneath Curtis Caesar because it appeared that Sean Parnell had help down the field. He should have gone with the receiver.
Our ISO cameras, they are clairvoyant. Danny White, his defense, hoping to stop. Pearson still going, and into the end zone. They ran that sweep now for the 4th time, and as you said, at some point it could go for big yardage. The first 3 times they ran it, they picked up 2 yards. This time, nobody touched Pearson all the way into the zone. And the Bobcats recapture the lead.
Here's where you can get in some trouble. Go ahead and run it. Bob McMillan was up into the line of scrimmage, and he couldn't get back out to force this back inside. There's Bob giving chase right there. He was already coming up into the line to blitz, They ran a toss sweep, caught Arizona completely off guard. A great play call by Rick Buffington.
Untouched into the end zone. Huerta is great and true. And the Bobcats back up by 7 with 6 minutes, 1 second to go. They will not leave this arena. The Bobcats are here to stay. Pearson, nobody even got a mid on him. We're back with 6:01 to go.
On the next, Pensacola Wings of Gold.
PX gas kills in exactly 6 seconds.
Will a stolen vial of nerve gas cost the Sea Dragons their lives?
What are you trying to prove here?
I'm trying to stop the bad guys from winning.
And
This is not just any team.
Colonel Kelly faces the toughest decision of his career.
I have 4 lieutenants.
Then one of them has to go.
James Brolin stars in Pensacola Wings of Gold.
Tonight at 11 on WB61.
Here's our Subway game summary. Subway, the way a sandwich should be.
3 turnovers, 22 Florida points, and they have yet, the Rattlers have yet to be able to stop the Bobcats in the second half. Defense played great early. I don't know if they've gotten tired or what, but you can't give up rushing touchdowns from over 20 yards out in this league. Bobby Millen got himself out of position. He was up blitzing. That's going to happen, but you cannot give up those rushing touchdowns. They're going to need a stop somewhere along the line because Florida is on a roll. And this is not a great offensive team, the Florida Bobcats, but they found the rhythm this afternoon, and they're using it.
And that was our theme, the Rattlers defense giving up 50 points per game coming into the game. Now giving up 54. Crazy bounce in the back of the end zone, and Shake steps out for the touchback. Huerta's been hitting a lot of iron on those kicks.
That thing hit iron, came down onto the field, then went back up and hit some more iron. We got to keep reminding ourselves that this is Carlos Huerta's first game in the Arena League. Comes off the hard stuff, goes back to the hard stuff, back up to the hard. It's just bouncing off too many things. Calvin's got no chance to make a play on that ball. I don't know if you can say it's a great kick, though, Tom. I mean,
it's a lucky kick.
If he kicked for 30 more years in this league, I don't know if he can make that happen again.
That again, playing pinball in the back of the end zone. Bonner, quick strike. Shake on his knees at the 10-yard line.
It's amazing, though. Danny goes back to the underneath stuff we were talking about earlier, how good this Florida defensive backfield was, and that he may have to develop some underneath stuff.
Big Mac back in the lineup and still wired.
We got a nice listen of Mr. Roboto.
That wire may have gone down when he got punished into the board. Marvin Bagley on the reception, and he takes it close to midfield.
Good to see Bagley getting involved. He needs to be in there. They need productivity out of him. He can't just be in the game. They need productivity so he can spell Hunky Cooper. He plays that inside slot receiver position. Good hands. He's a big guy at 6'5", 215 pounds. Nice target for Bonner, but he can't just be in the game. He has to be productive.
And that's what Bonner needs to do, is spread the wealth a little bit. He's gone to Scheck-Snyder 11 times here tonight, as the defense has keyed on number 8 of the Rattlers. Bonner looking for Shakes. He's open. Off the fingertip. Second down now and 10 for Danny White and Cedric Bonner, who watched this pass fall inches from another 6.
I don't like to second guess a guy who's an all-pro, but I think he got to lay out and at least get airborne for that ball. He's trying to run through it. Defensive back got tangled in his legs a little bit, but if that's touching your fingers, you got to think maybe if you lay out, you'll have a chance to make that grab.
3.5 minutes to play here in quarter number 4. Rattlers trailing the Bobcats by 7. Bonner, quick hit to Shake, and he picks up a big chunk of yardage, but not enough for the first down. That would bring up a 3rd and short.
You can see him talking to Kevin Knox right there. Every time Bonner goes to the line with this set of receivers, Kevin Knox, Marvin Bagley, and Calvin Schexnayder, he is having to tell one of those two guys, Bagley or Knox, where to line up to get wider because you got motion coming to your side. That is something a quarterback just shouldn't have to do. And when you've got young guys, a rookie and a guy in his first game in the Arena League in Knox, those things are happening. And they're in a dogfight. They don't need guys who don't know where to line up.
3rd and 1. Here comes Big Mac. On the roll right. Cut back left. And down at the 13-yard line. Plenty of room for the first down for Bob McMillan. The clock keeps rolling. 2.5 to play.
Tony Anderson right here on your screen. He's going to pull out and look for somebody to block, and he's going to find a former defensive lineman in college. Gets on the defensive back and rides him right into the boards. What a job. 2 of them he pushes out of the way. That's great blocking by a guy who's a defensive lineman by trade.
Bonner looking over the middle. Passes tipped away, incomplete. He was looking for his main man, Calvin Schexnayder. Bonner's numbers now 25 of 39, 235 yards and 6 touchdowns. He wanted it to be number 7.
Could not see the number, but it was a linebacker, the Jill linebacker, who does not rush the quarterback, staying in his box and reading the quarterback's eyes. Nice job of getting his hands up and knocking that ball down.
The clock keeps rolling. 1:30 and counting. Rattlers trailing by 7 here in the latter stages of the 4th quarter. Schexnayder down to the 4. 1 yard shy of the first down. That'll set up a 3rd and 1 as the clock will wind down to the 1-minute mark.
Tom becomes very interesting at this juncture in the game. Calvin makes a nice grab, gets it inside the 5-yard line, but not enough for a first down. Becomes very interesting. Florida calling a timeout. That's their first, but it becomes very interesting at this point in the game. You score, and you leave a lot of time on the clock for Florida. If you score, do you go for 2 to try to go up for 1, or do you try to tie it and hope that your defense can hold? Of course, it's tough as an offense to say, hey, we're not going to score on this, we're going to let the clock run and do all those things. But you're in that time frame where if you score within the next 15 or 20 seconds, Bobcats having 2 timeouts left, that's plenty of time for them to score again.
And look who's come back out onto the field, Hunky Cooper. Crunch time for the Rattlers. We haven't seen much of Hunky, who's been banged up. But when they need him most, number 14 will line up. 3rd and 1. Bonner, plenty of time, steps up, rolls left. Touchdown Rattlers! And they're coming out with Kyle Pooler for the 1-point conversion. 56 seconds left. Bo Kelly may have been his final option.
Final? I don't even know if he was an option. He was blocking for a while and then came out into the flat. Good job by Bonner, buying himself a little time by scrambling sideways in the pocket and finding Bo Kelly for the touchdown.
Kyle Pooler to tie it. Oh, and he was smooth on that one. If he felt the pressure, Kyle Pooler didn't show it. Bo Kelly. Okay, maybe he wasn't the final option. He was the only option. 56 seconds left to go. Plenty of time for Florida. We're tied at 54.
Dodge Caravan has always come with extra bonuses. And now Caravan comes with a few more. Like low 1.9 financing. Or to $750 cash back. Plus, select customers get a Dodge owner's bonus for an additional $1,000 cash back, which means you could own America's best-selling minivan for as little as $16,370. Now that's a bonus you can bank on, but only for a limited time. See the friendly Dodge dealer near you.
The snake pitch is up for the Rattlers defense. The Rattlers defense has been bending all night. They have given up 54 points. They must hold now. Cooler got a lot of this one. Into the net, into the hands of Taylor. Herman Taylor. Across the 15 to the 16-yard line. And now the Rattlers defense will take the field. Defensive specialist Cecil Doggett, Herb Duncan join the fray. Again, they are without Randy Gatewood. Out with a separated shoulder. Cedric Walker lost in the first half.
Their two best defensive backs are not in the game, and they're playing against the Florida Bobcats team that has found a rhythm offensively. This could get real hairy.
It's Curtis Caesar in motion. Fred McNair finds it. And the clock ticks. 45 seconds and counting.
You're in a tough position. You're the Arizona Rattlers. There they go. They're burning the timeout now. You have to save time. You have to forfeit timeouts to save some time.
All Florida needs to do is get into position for Carlos Huerta, who's been tremendous here tonight as their place kicker. McNair hasn't been bad himself.
Really turned it up in the second half. Struggled a little bit early in the first half when the Rattlers were playing real good tight defense. Really stepped it up in the second half. Hasn't made any mistakes in the second half and has made the plays he's had to make to keep his team in this ballgame.
Exactly. He's made the big passes, 15 of 29. Not going to turn a lot of heads, but he has been on the mark when they've needed him most.
Hey, he's got his team tied 54 apiece with 37 seconds left with the world champion Arizona Rattlers, a team that most people thought would just breeze through this schedule this year and be right back in the Arena Bowl in 1998. He's done a great job. You got to give all the credit you can to Florida. They played great defense on the Rattlers' best offense in the league. Right now they have them 6 points below their average. Done a great job tonight.
Fred McNair with quarterbacking in his blood. His brother Steve, the quarterback of the Tennessee Oilers. He'd be proud of him here. As Bernard Edwards takes in the reception for the first down, and the Rattlers will stop the clock with 32 seconds on the board.
That doesn't look like they're going to burn another timeout.
They'll move the chain.
Tough spot to be in for the Rattlers. You cannot come up and play tight coverage because you cannot afford to get beat deep, but these guys are getting themselves in position for a chip shot field goal or a couple of shots in the end zone before they attempt it.
Pitch play to Pearson. He scored on this last time. Pearson all the way to the 6-yard line. Somersaulting his way deep into Rattler territory, and Carlos Huerta will have that chip shot that Ed Cunningham talked about.
Marty Hochhorst right here is going to do an excellent job getting a hook block on the defensive end. I believe it was Jamie Washell. See how he got his hands inside, Flint Fleming. Drives him off the ball and gets him turned so Pearson can run by. What a nice block by Marty Hochhorst. And if it's not for Cecil Doggett, this game could be over.
Pearson, 5 rushes, 42 yards, and a touchdown. That last one hurt. 11 seconds left, Ed. This is interesting time for Florida. Do they go for the field goal now, or do they chew up a little bit more clock?
I think you got to take at least one, possibly 2 shots. You have 2 timeouts left. You got to take a couple shots into the end zone. And then if you don't score on those 2 shots, you got first down. You got to move the ball to the middle of the field for Carlos. You're too close to the end line with those narrow uprights. It makes those uprights even more narrow the further you get away from the center of the field.
Rattlers trying to become the first team in AFL history to possibly go undefeated, but only 4 games into the season. In their last 2 games by a total victory to by 2 points.
They might just run a dive play to the left so that they can get the ball to the middle and kick the field goal.
McNair looking to the end zone. Edwards makes the one-handed grab. What a catch in the back of the end zone. Bernard Edwards one-handed as the Bobcats threw it into the end zone. A shocking call in field goal range. Instead, they go for the throw.
I love the call. You had time. It was a route, and McNair threw it where no one was going to catch it but his guy. Bernard Edwards almost didn't make the catch. You can see McNair put plenty of speed on the ball, threw it to the way outside of Edwards, and Edwards makes an incredible catch. Pretty good coverage by Doggett. It's just Edwards, 6'5", gets that big hand on the ball and reels it in.
Huerta to make it 7. And Carlos Huerta knocks it through. 61-54. Bobcats lead by 7, and there is 7 seconds left on the clock for the Rattlers.
Obviously, the fans who have decided to head for the exits have never been to an Arena Football League game, because 7 seconds and a timeout with Cedric Bonner at as your quarterback. Very doable for the Rattlers. They have to get themselves in position to take a couple shots. Another look at great catch by Bernard Edwards. Gets the ball and the foot down. Incredible concentration on the sidelines, and even had to fight off the boards. But that's the guy. If anybody in this league can get it done with 7 seconds and a timeout left, that man right there.
We have seen some wild finishes here at the America West Arena in Rattlers football. A few seasons back, Las Vegas losing it on the kickoff. The Rattlers fell on it in the end zone, so anything can happen in the final seconds.
And anything can happen when you kick off to this guy. It'll be interesting to see if they try a split kick or something. Hunky is just far too dangerous a man to let him have a free return.
Playing with fire. They won their last 2 games by a combined total of 2 points, and then came in here tonight against a charged-up Florida Bobcat team hungry for their first win of the season.
Rick Buffington probably thought long and hard about what to do with this kickoff.
Hunky back to receive. Will Huerta give him a chance? He sure will. Through the soft net and out of bounds, so the Rattlers get it on the touchback. Carlos Huerta has been finding every seam, every piece of iron off those nets the entire evening.
Huerta getting all kinds of high fives from his teammates because they know how important that was.
Every second half possession, the Bobcats have stuck it in. And that includes the Bonner fumble on the snap with Darren Kenny that Tony Wells took it in for the score.
They only converted 2 out of 8 in the first half. This half, they're perfect.
7 seconds for the Rattlers. Trailing by 7. Bonner, sideline Duncan, and he gets out with 4 seconds on the clock.
Great play, but with 4 seconds, you can't afford but to go for the end zone.
And this is where the nets come into play. Cedric Bonner will no doubt be looking toward the end zone. But those nets are live, and quarterbacks have been known in the Arena League to try and throw a ball off those nets to a receiver.
Only thing you can do if you don't want to go for the end zone is a real quick out and the guy get out of bounds. Otherwise, it has to go to the end zone.
It's come down to this. 4 seconds for the Rattlers, trailing by a touchdown. They set it up for Herb Duncan. Herb needs to get into the end zone. He won't. And the Rattlers come up 13 yards short, and Florida celebrating on the sideline. A gutsy call. Bonner, kind of a screenplay to Herb Duncan. but he didn't get enough support and blocking to get all the way into the end zone. He wound up at the 13-yard line.
Gutsy wasn't the word I was going to use to describe that call, Tom. I mean, it's hard to argue with Danny White with all the success he's had, but with a guy like Calvin and a guy like Hunky, I don't know why you wouldn't get that ball down. Maybe get Marvin Bagley in the game, 6'5", get them down in the end zone and roll out Bonner and give it one shot. That underneath screen's a very tough play to score on from any distance because you have a lot of pursuit from the inside out. Florida did a great job defending it.
So the Florida Bobcats have picked up their first victory of the 1998 season. The Rattlers, their first loss. They fall to 4-1. Give a lot of credit to Rick Buffington and the Bobcats pulling off the stunning upset of the defending AFL champion Arizona Rattlers. You see the final right there.
Your power is gone, cause your battery died, and you need some help starting up your ride. Let's work together. Come on, let's work together. Because Checker understands every car, truck, wagon, or van.
Checker is your battery headquarters. From Hondas to Harleys, lawnmowers to Lincolns, we've got a tough X-Side heat beater or NASCAR battery that's just your size. Checker.
Let's work together.
Khadijah won't give Sinclair a raise.
I gave you a job when you were fresh off the bus, running around tossing your hat in the air like Mary Tyler Moore. Well, you're no Mr. Grant.
So Sinclair takes on a new career.
I got a job. Hey, has anyone asked you why you crossed the road today?
While Khadijah gets a new assistant.
I just want to rip the hair off her chin.
Now, neither is happy, but neither will admit it.
I'm drawing a blank. How about you?
On the next Living Single.
Tonight at 9:30 on WB61.
Making friends is our business was a motto that my grandfather created back in the 1950s when he came up with the slogan. Beer is about friendship, about relationships. It's about making friends, going out, meeting new people, and there's not a better beverage to do it with than a Budweiser. There are 500 million beer drinkers in the world, 80 million beer drinkers in the United States, and they must know something.
The Room Store sells more quality Viewpoint leather than anyone else in the Valley because we have the best selection and our unbeatable low price guarantee. Until Tuesday, don't miss this special purchase 8-way hand-tied 100% leather sofa, only $7.97 while quantities last. Buy now and pay later with no interest and no payments till $19.99. Same as cash on every item in every room, only at the Room Store.
We put it all together and save you more at the Room Store.
Welcome to Taco Bell. Can I take your order?
Let's see. 1,000 burrito supremes, 700 Mexican pizza, and what are those new gorditas?
Hey, Godzilla, want something to drink?
Godzilla's at Taco Bell on 4 collector cups. And now you can put them in a cool Godzilla cup holder. Get them while supplies last.
America West flies to towns of every size, all over the country. In fact, America West flies more non-stops to more places than any other airline in Phoenix. And you always get reasonable rates and assigned seats. So whenever you need to travel, or whomever you need to see, just book your flight on America West, the airline with more non-stops to more places.
Arizona Rattlers football was brought to you by the Gila River Casinos. Winners go where jackpots flow. AirTouch Cellular. Call 1-800-AirTouch. Bud Light. If you want great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down, make it a Bud Light. The Room Store, where they put it all together and save you more at the Room Store. Cox Communications. America West Airlines, the official airline of your Arizona Rattlers. Checker Auto Parts, for the parts you need at a low price guaranteed. Taco Bell, Viva Gorditas, and by St. Luke's Medical Center.
So the Rattlers lose for the first time in 1998, 61-54 to the Florida Bobcats. Tonight's Budweiser Outstanding Player for the Rattlers Calvin Scheck-Snyder, 13 catches, 121 yards, and 4 scores.
He was easy to make the player of the game because without him, I don't think that the Rattlers would have even been able to stay this close with the Florida Bobcats. They were severely outplayed tonight. Calvin really stepped it up when they needed the big plays.
But it's his counterpart, Bernard Edwards, who comes up with our fantastic play of the game, brought to you by WB61. The one-handed grab in the end zone, the winning score.
What made it even more spectacular is that was for the game. When everything was on the line, he made the biggest play and the best play of the night.
So the Rattlers move on. They will try and regroup back here at home next Saturday when they take on the San Jose SaberCats. For producer Scott Feaster and director Dan Siekman, this is Tom Leander saying we'll see you on Saturday, June 6th, right here from the AWA when the Rattlers take on another type of cat, the SaberCats. For Ed Cunningham, so long, 61-54. Rattlers fall to the Bobcats.